Chapter 881 Whole cards, we have them too. Roar. None of these huge animals is less than 20 meters tall. The eyes were extremely red, exuding an aura that even a vice admiral like Onagumo felt depressed. Brother Indy, these children will be handed over to you, but you have to play with Marine and the others. Golden Lion to a man dressed in a clown costume. Of course, boss. This man grinned Isho, waved his whip, pointed directly at the SSG battle robot, and said sternly, "Target, these robots, demolish him for me." Roar. A group of animals roared into the sky, and then rushed to the SSG. Bang. An SSG robot marked with O1 on its body rushed in front of a huge ant with a body like a gem, and punched it out of the air. But what shocked the seamen who were looking forward to it was the ant was unscathed, and SSG-01 was thrown out with a single flick. No, they are all so strong. Watching this scene, all the sailors felt their brows beating. If they are so strong, how can they fight? Boom. Fortunately, at this moment, a giant snake was knocked into the air, making them realize that not everyone is as powerful as that gem ant. But even so, it's a bit too powerful. Look at these behemoths who can easily match the pacifists. The sailors will be severely injured even if they are not careful, and the Vice Admiral's scalp is numb. All those below the Rear Admiral position stand back and go to support other battlefields. Here we are. Momonga made a sound and blocked the incoming mammoth, looking a little hard. Yes. The Marines below the Rear Admiral rank immediately dispersed to join other battlefields. Everyone in the Rear Admiral position and above, get on it. Momonga swished away with a shave, then snorted. At this time, the role of the giant Vice Admiral is reflected. They became the main force. Their enormous power becomes the best weapon against these monsters. With a normal physique like Momonga, even if he is very strong, it is a bit of a struggle to deal with it. But even as, these monsters are too big. Ronsa Vice Admiral struggled to push a giant bear away, but was immediately blasted away by a monkey. The battle situation became somewhat uncertain because of the addition of these monsters. Damn, nasty monster eats my punch. Gurant was still not convinced, and even rushed away under the obstruction of a group of colleagues. The red blood vessels in the right arm burst out and smashed into the body of a red and white zebra. He originally thought that the power of his own punch of the devil could shake the monster out. After all, even Vice Admiral can't catch his punch. He's still capable of participating in this situation, but... Bang! The zebra didn't even move. Then, it twisted its body, and its legs exuded the breath of armament hockey, and kicked it, and the air burst. Not good. Grant's pupils shrank, but it was too late to react, because the zebra had thrown its tail and bound him. Frozen. Just when he was about to be frozen, a calm voice came with an icy aura, freezing the zebra. Kuzan Admiral. Gurant doesn't even need to look to know who saved him. Go back, this is the battlefield you can participate in. These monsters can be high or low, you can't tell the difference, it's easy to fall into danger. Kuzan turned his back to him, and after that, he fought with Ace again. Kid, don't make trouble for us. Kuzan Admiral brought you into the Marine, not for you to mess around. At this time, a large knife slashed Washin Mountain and tore apart the zebra ice sculpture in front of Gurant. I saw a giant Vice Admiral with medals on his chest, very rude to Gurant. John Giant, a man who dared to attack Whitebeard in the battle at the top. Little devil, this is not a family game, it's not a good thing to be too brave. A giant Vice Admiral with a steel helmet and a two-headed axe also came over and said. The giant Vice Admiral Ronsa, who attacked Whitebeard in the top battle, was counter-killed by Whitebeard and shattered the weapon, the one with the helmet. Yes. Grant lost his temper this time, and immediately retired. This kid, he still needs to hone in on it. Otherwise, it will be very embarrassing. Seeing this scene, John Giant couldn't help sighing. Then, facing the Rear Admiral who couldn't resist at all, he felt that the situation was getting worse and worse. He shouted. Don't give up, stand up, the admirals are fighting with us, Mr. Sengoku, Mr. Garp are watching us. Fight until the last moment, until the end, going, kill with me. Oh. Hearing John Giant's voice like a thunder, all the rear admiral felt inexplicably a huge power suddenly emanating from their bodies. Gee. But at this moment, a screeching sound suddenly came from behind John Giant. The gem ant I saw was attacked by double clamps. Be careful, don't get caught, it's a terrorist attack that can directly shatter pacifists. A Marine Vice Admiral quickly reminded me. Crack. John Giant knows this without anyone reminding him. Because, the big sword he wrapped armament hockey actually cracked. Moreover, even the axe that Ronsa slashed down was shattered. Damn, to kill this monster. John Giant felt that he was wrapped around armament hockey's body and was about to be crushed, and he couldn't help but despair. Fistbone Kaishin fist. At this time, a heavy voice came, with inexplicable power. I saw the person who came to smash the gem ant with a punch, which made it make a sound of pain and let go of John Giant. He couldn't help but see who had rescued him. But I saw Garp punch out in the air, smashing the gem ants out. Monsters, don't underestimate people. Garp landed, and immediately attracted many seamen to shout. Cool, Garp, you can't resist joining the battlefield, it seems that your Marines are almost at their limit. Whitebeard's words immediately made the seamen who were so excited just now show their consternation. Then, even more uneasy. Yes, even Garp has joined, doesn't that mean that their marine heritage is over here? Damn Whitebeard, what a vicious tongue. Hearing this, Onagumo and other Vice Admiral couldn't help but secretly murmured nasty. Garp's debut would have been a very inspiring event. But when Whitebeard said this, it instantly became a manifestation of Marine's lack of background. Although what Whitebeard said is true. Chapter 882 Unexpectedly, the tower was stolen. Little ones, come on, victory is just around the corner. Whitebeard raised his arms and suddenly, all the members of Whitebeard were excited, ooh. Like a pack of wolves, it makes the scalp numb. Damn, there is no advantage. A group of Marines suddenly felt a strong pressure hit. This warm fighting spirit makes them a little overwhelmed. It's scary. Kizaru is still the same, lazy. But as long as you look at the injuries on Marco's body and the damage on his own body, you know that this time he is still quite serious. Well, Dragon, how long can you stop me? Look at the fate of those people in the Summer Chamber of Commerce. They are already under my 3 generals. They can't be embarrassed anymore. Bigumum smiled quite happily, and said proudly to Dragon. As long as you can block it, then block it for as long as you can, it's fine if you don't. Dragon's words are few, but full of firmness. Well, then I'll wait to see your good show Dragon, it's a very bad thing to not see the form. Marine doesn't have the upper hand, but that doesn't mean she and Kaido don't have the upper hand. In fact, they both have the upper hand. Especially her pirate group, the high-level combat power is almost unstoppable. Because the most fierce ones are those in the middle and the bottom. Few people like Katakuri fought them. Only this crescent moon hunter Katarina Devon, and a thick-skinned Sanyuan wolf, are a fighting cracker. As for Lafitte and Buggies, their strengths are just that, and they have been in contact with Daifuku, but their influence is not very big. And just when Bigumum was so proud, there was a sudden commotion in the Beast Pirates. What? The old man's base camp was attacked. Who is so courageous? Kaido's mentality exploded when he heard the reports from his subordinates far away in the New World that Onishima was actually attacked. Then, he heard from his partner, Wano-kuni Admiral Army Kurozumi Orochi. Kazuki Oden, as well as their retainers, gathered again and launched a revenge plan. Supernova Straw Hat Luffy, Death Surgeon Trafalco, Captain Eustace Kid, Magician Hawkins are involved. Especially when he heard that their goal was to overthrow himself, the 4 emperors, Kaido's mentality exploded. He didn't teach these new bastards a lesson, they were good, and actually stepped on his head. It is bearable, and it is unbearable. Damn guy, watch me destroy you. Bastard, take me Kaido as someone, you little bastards want to challenge me, but I'm still a little tender. Kaido's roar attracted everyone's attention, and both Tsuru Vice Admiral and Sengoku couldn't help but have an ominous premonition. What happened suddenly? Why did this guy Kaido go crazy all of a sudden? Tsuru Vice Admiral said with some ominous premonition, and Sengoku frowned. According to what he said just now, it seems that a few ghosts attacked his base camp. Sengoku's head twitched, and suddenly he came to a somewhat unbelievable conclusion. Shouldn't it be the Straw Hat Luffy, provoked him? An LT, P and GT. As soon as this conclusion came out, he felt more and more likely. If it's the Straw Hat Luffy, he thinks it's very possible. This person, anything is possible, and there will be no surprises. Then doesn't that mean, Tsuru Vice Admiral couldn't help showing a solemn look after listening to Sengoku's words. Yes, probably. Sengoku could finish speaking. Kaido roared. Jin, you three disasters, bring 10,000 troops, and immediately return to Oni Island, give me back to Oni Island immediately, and destroy all those bastards. As soon as he said these words, all the Marines exploded. Originally it was only able to stabilize the situation, but now the 100 Beast Pirates have suddenly withdrawn from the three major forces. Isn't this adding chaos? Kaido, what do you want to do? Retreat at this time? Where did you put our efforts? Immediately, Marine roared and questioned, extremely angry. Boss, Jack, Queen, go. After Jin got Kaido's order, he immediately forced back the Demon Oz, and turned into a phantom and rushed towards the battleship. At the same time, there are also a large number of people from the Beast Pirates who are retreating very quickly, preparing to return to the New World to suppress the rebellion. It's really daring, you dare to invade our 100 Beast Pirates. Jack's face was gloomy and his body was hurt. Then, they also set foot on the battleship together and prepared to return, completely ignoring the anger of the Marines. Damn. Seeing the Beast Pirates doing whatever they want, they didn't pay attention to them at all, and all the sailors couldn't help but be inexhaustible. They couldn't help saying at the same time, pirates are pirates, and it will never be a big deal. It's a miracle to have such a disorganized discipline to have today's results. Then our new target is you. The people from the Summer Chamber of Commerce who were freed directly rushed towards the Big Human Pirates, and the Demon Oz rushed towards Katakuri. This time, Katakuri can't stay out of it either. Kaido, what are you trying to do? Leave suddenly, are you going to break the covenant? Sengoku and others didn't say anything, and people who don't represent the world government won't say anything. I don't need you to take care of what this old man is going to do. It would be good to help you fight against the Summer Chamber of Commerce Alliance. The old man is not your subordinate. If it wasn't for Marine's sake, you would be dead. Kaido's face was gloomy, and he gave the world government official a murderous look. The latter stared straight at it, shaking like a sieve, and didn't dare to say a word in an instant. Ha ha ha, this is a good opportunity, brothers, come on, the dawn of victory is already waving to us. The sudden departure of the three Kanbans of the 100 Beasts Pirates relieved a lot of pressure on everyone in the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Damn, the Summer Chamber of Commerce has too much mid-level combat power. A Vice Admiral said with a tingling scalp. Looking at the Mamoruo in front of him, he felt very tired. And there are hundreds of people like Mamoruo in the Summer Chamber of Commerce. It is simply stronger than their Marine's mid-level combat power. Are you surprised? That's right. This is the wisdom of Lord Shajircheng. It can always be arranged reasonably, and the enemy will come first. Mamoruo couldn't help but smile smugly and reverently. The mid-level combat power that Vice Admiral mentioned actually refers to the artificial Devil Fruit troops. This unit selects endurance talents between the ages of 18 and 30. Chapter 883 appear. King Uranus. Then, after scientific and reasonable training, they are awarded their respective devil fruits. Let each of them have strength against Vice Admiral. The leader among them, like Mamoru, has the strength to completely defeat the ordinary Vice Admiral. It even gave them a higher status as a team. In the Summer Chamber of Commerce, except for those members of the headquarters, they are the highest. Almost on an equal footing with those fleet captains. Damn, where did the Summer Chamber of Commerce find these monsters? Kaido pirates evacuated 20 to 30% of the people. Immediately, the most laid-back members of the Bigumum pirates felt the pressure. All the fleet captains of the Summer Chamber of Commerce were once good players. After they joined in, the ministers of Bigumum were completely unable to stop them. Ha ha ha, what about the 6th Emperor Charlotte Linlin, is that all the strength of his subordinates? A sword knocked back the nut minister Amand, and the fleet captain with a paw tattooed on his chest couldn't help sneering. Damn bastard, stop looking down on people. Seeing this, Opera, the minister of Cream, rushed over, trying to knock this madman into the air and teach him a good lesson. But what kind of hero is a sneak attack? This is the virtue of your Bigum pirates. A big man directly blocked Opera, and after blocking him, he said with contempt on his face. Damn, who are you? Looking at this big man who was standing in front of him like an orangutan, motionless, Opera asked with a frown. The mere name is not worth mentioning, you just need to know that I am your opponent. Of course, even if you lose in my hands, it's not a strange thing. After all, you won't be ashamed of losing to our Summer Chamber of Commerce. It's okay not to say this, Opera got angry when he said that. His dignified minister of Cream of the Bigumum pirates was so despised by an unknown person. It's bearable, he can't bear it. Arrogant. He took a step forward and rushed over. Seeing this, the big orangutan laughed, wrapped armament hockey with both hands, and collided with it. In the World Government Team. Marshal Sengoku, General Staff Counselor, Chief of Crane, did you use that weapon? A World Government official asks Sengoku. Tsuru, what's your opinion? Sengoku did not express his opinion immediately after hearing this, but instead asked Tsuru Vice Admiral for his opinion. I don't have a problem, I think it's time. Tsuru Vice Admiral nodded. The situation was out of control now, and it was a good thing to have that weapon on the field. Okay, let's go. This time Gorosei, 5 elders really went out of their way, and this powerful weapon is actually thrown in. It seems that they no longer intend to tolerate the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Sengoku sighed. Just after this island will really become a deserted place. After many years, there may be no life. The windless zone will also become a restricted area for life. Tsuru Vice Admiral said, although this weapon is easy to use, the cost of activating it is too high, so it cannot be used often. Otherwise, why let the sea be in chaos for so many years? Sengoku smiles wryly. If that weapon can be used along with it, I am afraid that the pirates in the whole sea will instantly unite to fight against the World Government. Tianwang, start. Immediately after Sengoku's words were finished, an emergency retreat order came from among the Marines. Evil guys, accept the punishment of fate. Akainu hit halfway and suddenly retreated. This was the first time he had retreated voluntarily, without any hesitation. This made Whitebeard a little puzzled. When did Akainu speak so well, and insist on so unprincipled? But not only him, Kuzan, Kizaru, Ryokugyu these admiral. Anagumo, Momonga, Yamakaji, the vice admirals. Even after doing rear admiral, he suddenly moved towards the marine headquarters in a frenzy. And Kuzan waved his hand and created a huge wall to stop the pirates from chasing. What are these guys doing? This time, let alone Whitebeard, even Golden Lion was stunned. Hurry up, don't fall, you will die if you fall, hurry up and gather. Marine resounded through the sky, and it was rare for the pirates to not let out a little cheer of victory. They only felt that there was an extremely depressing breath coming. This feeling is very bad. This kind of feeling makes them not feel the slightest victory, only the horror of imminent disaster. Cool, what is it? Whitebeard also had a solemn expression on his face, and he also felt a strong sense of crisis. This feeling gave him such an unreal feeling. As the overlord of the sea, he has not felt this way for a long time. And Shajir-Ching, who had been watching the fun from far away, suddenly stood up. The world government has really come up with something incredible. It's no wonder that you are so confident, and dare to bring this big killer. Very good. Shajir-Ching took a long breath. The weapon deployed by the world government made him feel a strong threat. But that weapon, only he can fight it. Even Whitebeard can only regret losing. Because it is so powerful. It is so powerful that it has surpassed the dimension of the world's peak combat power. It has the power to reduce the dimension and strike against all the strong. Even he himself does not have enough confidence. It's true that I'm a little overwhelmed, but fortunately my body stayed. I didn't expect these people to be so decisive. Shajir-Ching walked away, leaving behind a side railing. The only person who can do this is you. These guys, shouldn't they use that weapon? Golden Lion looked at the excited, hesitant sailors who gathered away, and had a not-so-good guess. Maybe it is. Whitebeard also has a bad feeling. In the end, what kind of weapon makes them so excited? Marco and others couldn't help but look over, even Kaido, Bigumum couldn't help but stop. Pirates, stand trial. Onagumo and other hawks, Vice Admiral, are all excited. What the hell are you doing? If you have any tricks, use them quickly, we have no time and leisure to talk to you guys. There are pirates who are not used to the sea soldiers, show off their might, and can't help but scold. At the moment when the pirates' words fell, a wave that trembled violently together with the air came with a buzzing sound. Then, under the watchful eyes of a group of pirates. One is 4 meters tall, with a streamlined body, full of sculptural mechanical beauty. The same robot that came out of the future appeared in front of them. Chapter 884. Not surprisingly, Shajir-Ching appeared. The robot has wings behind it, and a corona-like halo appears, which is extremely shocking. Most importantly, the robot's chest is round and hollow. But there was a blue bead that exuded a mysterious heavy breath, but even Whitebeard felt a burst of heart palpitations. Eurylos, the King of Heaven. It actually appeared. When Whitebeard saw the robot, his scalp tingled. What, this is Uranus. All the pirates and the sailors were shocked when they heard the words. Kill. But Uranus made a cold mechanical sound, and the 6-meter body disappeared in an instant. Then appeared in front of Whitebeard and punched down. Cool. Whitebeard be a little bit afraid. The power of shattering burst out, facing each other. Boom. Heaven and earth were destroyed, thunder roared, and the ice surface exploded for several kilometers. In the violent wind and waves, I don't know how many people were blasted out. But what is shocking is that Whitebeard's devastating punch was slowly suppressed back. Hi. Everyone present couldn't help but take a deep breath. Whitebeard, a top powerhouse, but he was actually suppressed in the first round. What the hell is this? Die. Uranus uttered an icy cry, stretched out his left hand, and a little light cannon was condensing. In the face of this condensed light cannon, even Whitebeard can't help but frown. He immediately backed out, but the robot was like a shadow, with rolling waves on its fists, which was extremely infiltrating. It zoomed in again in Whitebeard's eyes, and the world moved. Boom boom boom. He and Whitebeard clashed violently, and all he saw was Whitebeard's body constantly flying with blood. His expression was extremely dignified and labored. Whitebeard is no match at all. Boom. The robot stomped heavily on Whitebeard's body, knocking him back more than 10 meters. The light cannon in his hand was aimed at Whitebeard and released. Roar. The air was exploding, and circles of air kept appearing, reaching Whitebeard like light. Hey hey hey, a little too strong. Whitebeard couldn't help but his pupils shrank, and he punched out. It is a powerful shattering force that confronts and blocks this cannon. Boom. But just when everyone thought they could calm down a little, there was a sudden thunderous explosion from the light cannon. I saw Whitebeard backed out with a painful look on his face, and the corner of his mouth hit a warship with blood. Only then did everyone realize that the robot had disappeared. Daddy. Seeing this scene, Marco and others couldn't help being stunned. Who is Whitebeard, the strongest man in their minds, but now he can't beat a robot? What a joke. What is the origin of this robot? Is it so powerful? All the Marines were even more stunned. It was the first time they saw Whitebeard in such a troubled situation in a duel. That was Whitebeard, the strongest man ever. So embarrassed. This is too powerful, Kobe couldn't help but say. He was deeply shocked by the strength of the robot. Bang! The robot pulled out a lightsaber, buzzing at a high speed. With the power to cut everything, it rushed towards Whitebeard. Bang! Whitebeard raised the knife to resist, but couldn't help but spit out blood again. The robot's chest that I saw shot a ray that penetrated Whitebeard's body. Boom! Whitebeard was blasted out again. Ooh, blood spurted out again. The robot is going again, trying to kill Whitebeard. But wherever Marco is willing, he rushes up to stop it. However, the robot just raised its hand and pushed. Boom! As if he was suddenly hit by some invisible force, Marco suddenly vomited out a mouthful of blood, and fell to the ground weakly. Seeing that Whitebeard was about to be hit hard again, a phantom suddenly rushed over. A cold light flashed across the crowd. Then, the power and sharpness that stirred the world slammed into the robot's lightsaber. Boom! The air wave against the chaos of the surrounding sky shattered the ice layer, rolled up an ice block, turned into a vicious bullet and smashed into the surrounding air. In an instant, the number of casualties. After a long time, everyone looked at it and saw another robot-like life form in front of Whitebeard. A purple energy giant, the same height as the robot, holds a long sword in his hand and collides with the robot, without falling behind. Sha-Jur-Ching. How is it possible? Seeing this scene, all the sea soldiers were immediately stunned. Didn't Sha-Jur-Ching go to sea? How could it possibly be here? This guy. Seeing Sha-Jur-Ching, Sengoku couldn't help but feel a chill. It was hard for him to imagine if they didn't use this ultimate weapon, or if they didn't think about bringing this ultimate weapon. And when they feel like they're about to win. Sha-Jur-Ching suddenly descended on the battlefield like a divine soldier. What kind of scene would that be? That should be a shadow in the hearts of all the sailors for a lifetime. As expected of Sha-Jur-Ching, it really is a good strategy. This trick is really consummate, and the art is bold. Sengoku was very emotional about the book, and then, he changed his words. However, even you are useless today. In the face of absolute strength, you can only surrender. Era, it's really been thrown around. Kuzan shook his head and said with some headache. He didn't know that Sha-Jur-Ching had the ability to clone. So, I just thought that the news of the summer sailing was an action to attract their attention. Not really to find the final place. Today, let you understand that evil can never resist justice, and justice will prevail. While Akainu's face was gloomy, there was a trace of contempt in his eyes, proud and relieved. A big worry is about to be removed here. How can people be unhappy? Sha-Jur-Ching is here. Dad, leave this enemy to me, go and support other places. Sha-Jur-Ching said to Whitebeard behind him. Cool, be careful you kid. Whitebeard heard Isho and stepped back. You look younger and kinder than the reward. At this time, a voice suddenly came from the robot's body, low and cold. Who are you? Sha-Jur-Ching not only frowned when she heard this, but she didn't seem to expect that this robot could actually speak. I am, a voice came from the robot, and Sha-Jur-Ching was a little surprised again. Chapter 885. Is there really no one to balance it? I didn't expect it to be you, and you will actually come to the battlefield in person. What an astonishing news. However, is this the so-called Heavenly King? A Gundam? Or is it controlled by you? No wonder you can control the entire world government. Yes, in Shajir-Ching's eyes, isn't the King of Heaven a Gundam? With all the appearance of Gundam, and even performance. I didn't expect you to dare to show up. Since you are so stupid, let me clean you up. After ending you, no one can stop us. After all, the power in the hands of the king suddenly increased several times, and he wanted to withdraw Shajir-Ching. But Shajir-Ching's Susanoo was completely motionless. The eternal kaleidoscope writing wheel in his eyes slowly turned. If you want to solve me, you have to see if you have the strength. To be honest, in order to guard against you, I have been exercising my strength, for fear that I will not be able to cope with you. But for now, it should be enough. While speaking, Shajir-Ching was still forming the seal, and then shouted, "Lay done, heavenly tribulation thunder punishment." Boom. The sky was covered with dark clouds in an instant, and then, one after another violent tribulation thunder blew down directly. All aimed at IM, and he had to control the king to retreat. "Where do you want to retreat?" Shajir-Ching's voice suddenly sounded from behind the king. Yinyu couldn't help being surprised, but saw that Shajir-Ching had disappeared from his sight, appeared behind him, and stabbed with a sword. Bang! IM hurriedly manipulated the king to resist immediately, and a terrifying voice broke out, which was extremely harsh. Boom! The violent storm was terrifyingly destroying the surroundings. Boom boom boom. The two giants launched a violent counterattack in this way, with swords, lights, swords and shadows, and the sound of gold and iron roared wildly. The sky is also constantly shattered with the battle between the two. Chidori's spear. Chidori. Lay done furious thunder tiger. Shajir-Ching developed the ultimate, immortal mode, with a 15-fold increase in Sharingan. The violent attack made the Heavenly King unable to bear it for a while. The light cannon that could make Whitebeard retreat was completely unable to cause much damage to Shajir-Ching. On the contrary, it was the King of Heaven who was slashed by Shajir-Ching twice, slightly damaged. No way, Shajir-Ching is so strong. Looking at the king who pushed Whitebeard into the disadvantage just now. Suddenly facing Shajir-Ching, he still fell into a disadvantage, and Sengoku felt unbelievable. Can't even the ultimate weapon defeat this guy? A group of Marines no longer had the excitement they had just now, and said with some trepidation. They faintly remembered the fear of being dominated by Shajir-Ching. It is the eternal darkness. Ha ha ha, the president is mighty. As expected of the president, he is invincible. Come on, president, defeat this guy and show them how powerful our pirates are. A group of pirates in the Summer Chamber of Commerce has changed from being apprehensive and panicking just now to being excited now. They are all thinking, as expected of the strongest man in the world, this strength is unimaginable. Whitebeard pirates and the flying pirates were also encouraged, and couldn't help shouting. The entire battlefield has become the mad cry of the pirates. In contrast, Marine's side seemed a little depressed, and morale suffered a great blow. Shajir-Ching has appeared. Will they have other conspiracies? Do we really have a chance of winning? The enemy is so strong, it is unlikely that we will win. Otherwise, just admit their status, we really can't win. Some sailors couldn't help thinking like this in their hearts. And IM obviously knew that this situation was not good for him, and immediately gave it up. Even if you want to consume a lot of the king's reserve energy, you must destroy that guy. Even if the energy of the king cannot be replenished, it doesn't matter. Shajir-Ching must get rid of him. If he doesn't get rid of him, maybe even the King of Heaven can't do anything about him in the future. Maximum output. IM drank wildly. The moment the words fell, the Heavenly King he saw suddenly glowed, as if covered with a layer of light, and Yimu was bleeding from his 7 orifices. Why can't the king be easily motivated? Energy cannot be replenished is a point. More importantly, those who manipulate him will also be backlashed by this power. If the body is not strong enough, it will be easily shaken into pieces. Boom! Only an explosion was heard, like thunder, and Shajurching was directly knocked out, far away. Suffer to death. The crown behind the king is like a burning flame, and then, it turns into a thick energy cannon and hits Susanoo directly. Hi! Whitebeard and others who were present couldn't help but feel a sense of panic. They knew that if they faced this blow, they would definitely die miserably, and it was impossible to stop it. So, what about Shajurching? Boom! Unbelievable energy light cannon exploded. It was like a shower of inflated balloons, rapidly expanding around. The aura that destroyed everything made everyone present suddenly change their color. A group of Marines panicked directly, and then ran away. In the face of this apocalyptic force of destruction, all disciplines become extremely fragile. Ice Age. Kuzan immediately created a huge ice sheet and wrapped all the Marines in it. Gri. Ryokugyu even created unimaginable thick vines that entangled the ice cap and added a layer of protection for him. Gravity Knife Tiger. Fujitora drew the knife and added a powerful repulsive layer to relieve pressure in the air. And in Whitebeard, the Golden Lion is here. Lion Mighty Scroll Overlord. Golden Lion activated its ability and created several huge ice lions to wrap everyone in it. Then, after touching everyone indirectly, using the ability of the fluttering fruit, let everyone fly into the air instantly to escape. Face to face, they dare not. But even so, it's not that easy. Everyone who was blown by the terrifying rising air waves swayed around, and there were few people who could stay stable. Seeing this, Whitebeard smashed the air with a punch, creating a chaotic force to fight down, which made the situation a little better. And when they were fighting like this, everything below was completely annihilated. Nine Snake Island, the nearby islands, and the frozen sea have no resistance at all, and are eroded like tofu. The sea opened up instantly. Nearby islands are completely gone, wiped off the map. Countless times more efficient than Buster Call. Chapter 886. Is it really indestructible? Hi! Looking at this scene, the pirates in the sky can't help but feel an inexplicable chill. They never thought that erasing an island would be so easy. You know, Nine Snake Island is not small. The east-west length can reach 32 kilometers, the north-south is slightly shorter, but it is also 25 kilometers. But such an island was wiped out in an instant. It even took several surrounding islands and was wiped out. This kind of power is really terrifying. The violent waves, as high as 100 meters, covered a radius of several kilometers, and fell fiercely. The banging sound of the slap on the sea makes people tremble with fear. Such a terrifying explosion, those two people. Whitebeard and others don't pay attention to how Marine is doing, they only care how Shajurching is doing. Boom. Maybe just to let people know how their situation is the same. The sea suddenly exploded with a huge wave, and the king appeared from the sea. But looking at his situation, it looks like he was blasted out by someone. Immediately, a half-crippled energy rushed out of the sea and landed on the sea as if walking on the ground. Suffer to death. The King of Heaven is still as powerful, radiant, and powerful. No matter how you look at it, he is the one who has the upper hand. I Am is even more energetic and has a strong self-confidence. Shajurching manipulated Susanoo to retreat quickly, and just after landing on the sea, Shajurching coughed inside. Then, a mouthful of blood spit out. Whitebeard and the others noticed that there were burn marks on half of his body, extremely red, and Vivi's chest was sunken. Completely fall into the downwind. Hey, this situation is not very good. Seeing this, Whitebeard had a bad feeling in his heart. If this trend continues, Shajurching will lose. Hey! Shajurching hit again. Seeing this, I Am couldn't help laughing proudly. Shajurching, let me see how long you can hide. Bang! 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 For a time, Shajurching only had the power to dodge, and there was no possibility of fighting back. No, the president is going to lose. Impossible, how could the president lose? President, come on, how can you lose to such a person? A group of people from the Summer Chamber of Commerce quickly cheered Shajirching. HMPH, resisting in the corner, your president, it is impossible to turn over again. Who do you think I am and what weapon do I use? This is an ancient weapon, the Heavenly King who can destroy all enemies. You guys are no more than mortal, and you want to fight against me. HMPH, death is his final end. I am snorted loudly, his voice resounding in all directions, with great disdain. Yes, that's it. Evil should be eliminated, justice must prevail. At this time, Akainu's voice suddenly came from everyone's ears. However, the losses on Marine's side were quite large. Almost all the warships that came were destroyed, and the number of people decreased by nearly 20%. There are still about 50% of the wounded supporting each other, and it seems that they have no fighting power. Fujitora and Ryokugyu had blood on the corners of their mouths, gasping for a feeling of being too exhausted. Marine is already like this, so of course the Big Human Pirates and the Beasts Pirates don't need to talk about it. Loss boss. Even Bigu Mum himself fell into the water, and all the sons were thinking about the rescue method with frowning. But apparently, they couldn't think of a way. Kaido is better. Also know to transform into a dragon soaring above the sky to avoid. However, the loss of the subordinates is also heavy. Dragon is wrapped in a hurricane, pulling all the members up to the sky to avoid, the same idea as Golden Lion. Cool, Akainu is panicking. Seeing this scene, Whitebeard couldn't help laughing. Yes, Marine suffered so many casualties, while the pirates suffered almost no casualties, can he not panic? As for Nine Snake Island, there are no residents in it for a long time. It has long since completely migrated to an island in the air. Shajirching, give it up, you have no chance of winning, surrender and I can let you live. I am still talking nonsense, wanting Shajirching to surrender. Surrender. Do you think it's possible? We are in this situation now, do you think I can survive after I surrender? Shajirching couldn't help sneering, besides, do you really think I was cornered by you? Hearing this, was taken aback for a moment, then asked, what do you mean? Amoy. Shajirching didn't answer him, but told him what happened with practical actions. He saw his left eye retreat from the eternal kaleidoscope to a kaleidoscope. Then, he heard a loud noise from the sea. Shajirching Nasusano almost recovered, and approached him. Couldn't help sneering, and he fought away with his knife. If this is your last move, then I think you should save it, you can't have a chance. He looked disdainful. Really? Just as the two were about to collide, Susano suddenly stopped. Then, as soon as the waist was twisted, the long sword in his hand turned into a thorn, and he broke through the defense line of the king and stabbed at the core of the king's chest. How could Yimu let Shajirching succeed? If this core is destroyed, it will be over. He quickly pulled back to defense. But he clearly saw that Shajirching's mouth suddenly showed a hint of ridicule, and there was a feeling that the conspiracy had succeeded. He couldn't help but let out a thump in his heart, but he saw Susano suddenly accelerate, turning into an afterimage without him passing by. Not good. Was in great panic, and a honeycomb-shaped energy layer appeared around the king's body, which turned the defense to protect him. One-shot profound truth, execution. Shajirching's voice sounded from his ear, like a lullaby, which made one feel a scalp tingling. Hurried to check on Tian Wang's condition, but nothing happened and Tian Wang was not harmed in any way. Not even a trace. Shajirching's slash tore through the endless long sea ahead, creating an infinite terrifying scene, but it did not have any effect on the King of Heaven. Seeing this scene, Whitebeard and others looked a little bad. Whitebeard's face was solemn. With such a terrifying blow, can't it cause damage to the king? Golden Lion is also solemn. This strength is a bit too much. This is not good. Both of them do, not to mention the others. Worried. Only Marine will show a happy color. There is a feeling of seeing the dawn of dawn. See battlefield. Shajir-Ching, give it up. The king is made of super alloys. 15 times harder than diamond, indestructible, you can't break it. Seeing Shajir-Ching, who was panting and consuming too much, Yi Mu couldn't help saying proudly. Chapter 887 I am, you lost. Really, I am, you're so confident in the king's defense. This will make you suffer. But Shajir-Ching laughed, full of mockery. Pretend to be mysterious, suffer. I am was very unhappy with Shajir-Ching's appearance, but he stopped abruptly before he said anything. Bah! I heard a sudden slap in the waist of the king, sparks appeared, and then a crack with a thick arm exploded. The debris is flying, and the energy barrier has no effect at all. It should be said that there is no time to block Shajir-Ching's sword. How is that possible? I was horrified. It's impossible. Even Kong, plus 4 admirals attacking at the same time, can't make the king suffer any damage. There can be no damage king in this world. How did you do it? I feels like his worldview has been turned upside down. One knife-style profound truth, Canry. But Shajir-Ching's voice is already close at hand. When Yi Mu came back to his senses, Shajir-Ching's sword had torn apart the sea and stabbed. It easily ripped through the barrier defense, hitting the middle core. Bang! With an incomparably piercing sound of golden iron, the sky was also torn apart, and a scar of the sky was torn apart. As if it could collapse at any time, it was infinitely terrifying. Boom! An unimaginable shock erupted from behind the king. The sea showed the traces of this impact, and it was stirred into a violent wave, and the situation changed. The more violent fluctuations, accompanied by the thunder and lightning from the sky, and the terrifying atmosphere of destruction, spread wildly around. The sea once again entered the world-destroying raging waves, 100 meters high, roaring furiously. The space in all directions is blurred, trembling wildly, it is impossible to shake the sky down. Golden Lion's face changed greatly, and he quickly manipulated everyone to continue to avoid further away. Marine also behaved well this time, and with a wave of Fujitora's gravity knife, he took everyone to the sky. Only the most hard-working Bigumum pirates were left, and they were once again submerged by the waves. Crack! Suddenly, the core energy crystal ball made a sound of shattering. Immediately, his pupils shrank together, and his heart felt cold. No. I wanted to back away, but 6 arms suddenly appeared behind Susano, grabbing the king tightly, unable to break free. I said, "Where do you want to go?" Shajir-Ching kept her hands in a knotted gesture. "The gift I prepared for you in the sky, you have to leave before you accept it. It's a bit too impersonal." What? Hearing this, Im's head was big, and he immediately looked up at the sky, and he couldn't help but take a deep breath. The few kilometers that I saw turned into dark clouds, and a Thor's face condensed out, staring at him. Then, lay done thunder punishment supreme. With Shajir-Ching's words, a roaring face, with a thunder of billions of strength, completely enveloped Shajir-Ching and Yi Mu. In an instant, a radius of several hundred feet became a sea of thunder. Then, it exploded, and it spread to a radius of several thousand feet again, turning the area into a zone of thunder and punishment, and life was not allowed to enter. Countless sea kings floated up from the deep sea screaming and their fish maws turned white, and the sea was full of wild. After the terrifying thunder and lightning bombarded for more than a minute, it stopped. The sea has long since become a forbidden place for life, floating full of sea kings and fish corpses. Terrible. And when the dust settles, the king is still the king, still looking like new. However, there is no longer the slightest threat, and that palpitating aura has disappeared. Look, the core of the king is gone. The sharp-eyed pointed at the core of the king, and said in surprise. It's really gone, don't tell me. Sengoku and the others immediately looked over and saw this fact, and instantly had a very bad idea. Cough cough, as expected of the king, the last blow is really powerful. Shajirching saw that half of the flesh on his shoulder was gone, and his right arm was paralyzed. Susanoo only had a few skeletons left, his mouth was full of blood, and his breath was a little sluggish. Just when he shattered the core of Heavenly King just now. From the shoulders of the king, a ray that even the full-body Susanoo and armament hockey couldn't cancel out actually shot him, causing him to look like this. In front of him, Im's top hat was crooked, the 7 orifices were bleeding, and the breath was even more sluggish, like a dead person, extremely scary. I won. Shajirching raised her head, wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth, and said. Ho tilde ho. I wanted to say something, but couldn't say it at all. Only the eyes full of unwillingness can let people know what is on his mind. Oh. Seeing this scene, the people from the Summer Chamber of Commerce were directly excited and cheered. How is it possible? Sengoku was directly shocked and could not help but back out and take a few steps. Dare not accept this fact. I am lost. Their marine also suffered a lot of damage in the battle just now, and they seem to be even less dominant. Keep playing, it seems even harder to win. Justice, never admit defeat. But Akainu definitely didn't agree with this result. His eyes were burning with fire, and he launched his ranged big move against the sky, Meteor Volcano. Boom boom boom. The sky turned red because of his actions, like a cloud of fire. Then, a group of giant magma fists with a terrifying impact smashed down with a roar. Bury me in the scorching heat of absolute justice. Akainu roared and shouted, his eyes full of madness. He knew too well that if he didn't take advantage of the fact that Shajirching, who was not in good condition, would be severely injured, he would have no chance later. Shajirching's horror, he had experienced it in the top battle 2 years ago. Jia ha ha, Akainu, I can't let you succeed, don't treat people like this old man as non-existent. Seeing this, Golden Lion couldn't help laughing, and quickly fell to the sea. Lion power sea god. He saw that he used his ability to create a group of roaring sea lions, and pounced on all the falling magma fists. Era, if that's the case, it won't let you succeed. Glacier breath. Kuzan touched his head, and suddenly a misty and cold breath flew out of his body, covering the whole sky. Crack, crack. Everyone listened to the sound of freezing in their ears. All around them, condensed ice crystals fell, and their bodies began to condense, which could not be stopped at all. Chapter 888. Even when you are sick, you need to see the object. Even a person of the level of Diamond Jozu can only watch his body freeze. And there is no way. Only Whitebeard's body was not frozen, but there was also a little frost. Below, the giant sea lion made by Golden Lion was frozen as soon as it touched the ice. The surrounding sea was also frozen again, and the waves were sparkling and dazzling. But what is shocking is that the meteor-like magma fist is completely unaffected, and it is still extremely hot. Formed a unique scene of ice and fire double sky. He, since that's the case, the old man can only show his ugliness. Fujitora also drew his sword, gravity knife oppression. I saw a circle of purple light waves spread out. Then, everyone, including Whitebeard, felt a gigantic gravity pressing on them. Let them lose weight in an instant and smash into the ice below. Hey, don't underestimate people. Fujitora. Seeing this scene, Golden Lion was unhappy, and his ability was strengthened. The ice layer roared again and a huge palm caught Whitebeard and the others. And the frozen giant lion of ice roared again and rushed towards the giant magma fist. Whitebeard, there is a hole behind you. Kizaru didn't know when he touched behind Whitebeard, his fingers lit up, and he wanted to hit Whitebeard hard. Do you think I don't exist anymore? Marco fluttered his wings and rushed out, wrapping armament hockey with one foot and blasting out, making Kizaru's chest turn into light and disappear to avoid the blow. Since you are here, don't leave. Whitebeard's knife was wrapped in the power of shock, and the senior armament hockey ripped apart Kizaru's body with one knife. Even Kizaru turned into light and left the moment the knife arrived. But a knife from Whitebeard, how could it be so easy to deal with? When Kizaru appeared in the marine, there was blood on his chest. By Huzi. Kizaru murmured with a rather unkind look, and the murderous intent spread. When the ice-releasing giant lion collided with the magma giant fist, Akainu had broken free of gravity and floated, rushing towards Shajirching. One punch, great major eruption, will burn Shajirching. But just as he was about to approach Shajirching, Dragon stopped in front of him. Sneak attack on the injured is not a good thing, he said. Damn. Stopped by Dragon, Akainu's lungs would explode. Mingming Shajirching is right in front of him, but he can't get rid of it. This kind of unwillingness is really maddening. Dragon. Akainu roared with endless rage, smashing the dragon with a fiery fist. This made Shajirching stop the idea of shooting. Although he can stop Akainu, but having someone help him, even better. Both sides landed again, but the situation has undergone earth-shaking changes. Shajirching, take your life. But Akainu is definitely not the only person present who wants to fight against Shajirching and defeat him. And Kaido of the Beasts. In the eyes of Kaido of the Beasts, there is no better opportunity than now. The current Shajirching is unimaginably weak, which is a good opportunity for him to take revenge. You dare. Seeing this scene, when Whitebeard drank violently and prepared to attack with a punch, an unexpected person appeared. Seeing Garp exuding a rolling armament hockey breath, he punched Whitebeard's fist and stopped him. Garp. Whitebeard did not expect that Garp would suddenly appear at such a time and stop him. I'm sorry, Whitebeard, it's about Marine's safety, I can't just sit back and watch. Garp's expression was extremely firm, and Whitebeard couldn't break through for a while. The whole army attacked and eliminated the pirates. Even when Vice Admiral saw this look, they were all excited and kept giving orders to charge. Sure enough, you can't be too presumptuous. Kuzan touched his head and appeared in front of the members of the Whitebeard pirates with a headache. He reached out and released an ice storm, freezing everyone. Fire Fist. But how could Ace let him succeed? With a punch, the place instantly turned into a sea of fire. The scorching temperature is almost comparable to the magma of Akainu. Brothers, come on, let Marine see our strength. What a great fight, it's so exciting. The captain of the Whitebeard Pirates' first team rushed out with excitement on every face. Golden Lion Pirates will naturally not fall behind, and the battle robots, those terrifying beasts, all charged away again. They are never afraid of fighting. Damn pirates, don't be too arrogant. Seeing them being so arrogant, the sailors were extremely angry. Marine, surrender, you are sure to lose today. The members of the Summer Chamber of Commerce are the most excited, and there is nothing more happier than fighting side by side with their own president. Stop talking nonsense to me. Listening to their words, commanding the SSG, the pacifist Zantaomaru immediately shouted angrily, and the sound shook the entire battlefield. Kizaru, get entangled by Marco again. Ryokugyu, this time caught by Bullet's eyes, fell into a furious battle. Fujitora, still being fought by the Golden Lion, there is bound to be a moment between the two of them. Can't we get on? Outside of this battle, the members of the 100 Beast Pirates who were supposed to join in, hesitated. It seems that the most correct way now is to sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight, watch Shajirching, the others in Marine consume each other, and let them reap the benefits of the fishermen. But not joining, it seems a little unreasonable. They clearly saw Suru Vice Admiral, and Sengoku's expression suddenly became extremely cold. Ah! Boom! Damn! Marine's side had suffered heavy losses from previous battles. Now, they have to face the forces of the three emperors at the same time, how can they be blocked? The battle is completely one-sided. The worst is yet to come. Looking at the Big-U-Mum pirates, the beast pirates watched, and Sengoku's heart sank. Originally, dealing with a summer chamber of commerce was already tricky enough, not to mention joining the flying pirates, the Whitebeard pirates. Not to mention that Marine has suffered heavy losses and morale is not good. This battle, from the very beginning, had almost no hope of victory. Chong, brothers, the president is fighting with us, we have an absolute advantage, what is Marine to be afraid of? The people from the Summer Chamber of Commerce are so fierce, they don't know what it means to be afraid, and they cut Marine into two pieces abruptly. One is from the Summer Chamber of Commerce, and the other is from Whitebeard, the flying pirates. But no matter which one it is, it has an absolute advantage. Chapter 889. What odds do you have? Kaido, this time, you still have to submit to me. At this moment, Shajirching's voice came again, and everyone couldn't help but look at it, and then they all couldn't help but take a deep breath. I saw Shajirching standing in the middle of Susanoo with his chest folded, swinging the heavy sword, pressing Kaido and hitting him. A knife fell, Kaido's chest was bleeding. A knife was stabbed, Kaido couldn't resist, and a hole was opened in his body. With one cut across the board, Kaido vomited blood and went backwards. Completely pressed and beaten, there is no way to fight back. Just like the previous Whitebeard was cornered by the king. The majestic Kaido is so fragile. Ha ha ha, the president is mighty. Brothers, go. This scene immediately made the people of the Summer Chamber of Commerce even more excited. Katakuri, what should we do? Do we continue to participate, or retreat? Looking at Big-U-Mum who was rescued but unconscious in front of him, Perospero asked. Continuing to participate, or retreating, is not a good way. Katakuri Vivi squinted and continued to participate in the war. Don't think about it, you won't get anything cheap. Previously, their troops were complete, Shajirching did not appear, and neither of them had the upper hand. What about now? Big-U-Mum was in a coma, 30% of his troops were damaged, and the dragons were leaderless. If you rush up like this, there is only one dead end. But retreating from this, the Summer Chamber of Commerce Alliance will inevitably settle accounts after the fall. Marine is possible. Things that kill you while you are sick often happen at sea. And now, they are caught in such a dilemma. Neither advance nor retreat. Marine here. Hold on, justice will prevail. Don't give up, the admirals are fighting against evil with us. The generals are constantly boosting morale, but the effect is not satisfactory at all. In the face of the three-way alliance of the Summer Chamber of Commerce who suddenly gathered together like wolves and tigers, they are almost on the verge of being crushed. It is no exaggeration to say that it is losing ground. Faced with this situation, Sengoku was also a little uneasy, and he looked at the beast pirates again. The beast pirates, the guys of the Big-Um pirates, are you going to continue to stand by and watch until when? Do you think Shajirching will let you go after you stop interfering in this matter? Wake up, we Marine lost, you are the first to be liquidated. If you don't want to be destroyed, then join forces with us and defeat the Summer Chamber of Commerce Alliance. Hearing this, Katakuri and the others couldn't help flashing a bit of struggle on their faces. Join, can you really defeat Shajirching and the others? Previously, all the members of the Whitebeard pirates, Shiryu of the Rain, and some of the Summer Chamber of Commerce fleet captains blocked Marine, the people of the world government. The remaining members of the Summer Chamber of Commerce, as well as the battle robots, united with the Revolutionary Army and fought against the Big-Um pirates. The flying pirates resisted their 100 beast pirates. Even though Marine took out the SSG later, the flying pirates responded immediately with violent beasts, and even gained the upper hand. Later, the birth of the King of Heaven did bring despair to everyone for a short time, but all of this came to an end after the King of Heaven was defeated by Shajirching. On the contrary, there are two pirate groups, and Marine suffered a lot of damage in the battle between Tianwang and Shajirching. Now, Shajirching still has combat power, and the loss of the Summer Chamber of Commerce Alliance troops is not too big. Did they really have a chance of winning if they join in? Katakuri doesn't think so. But we really don't seem to have a choice. If you don't join, you will be settled by the autumn. And obviously, the people from the 100 Beast Pirates thought so too. However, just as they were about to join in, a scream came, making them fall into an ice cellar again. I saw Shajirching and Kaido pass by again. Then, Kaido, known as the Undead, actually fell down with a scream, his eyes turned white, and he lost his mind. Under him, there was a pool of blood, and on his chest, a hole that could almost tear his internal organs came out. What a bloody scene. But this scene, the blow to the people of the 100 Beast Pirates, is not an ordinary big deal. Their boss actually lost to Shajirching again. How is that possible? How can it be like this? No, it's impossible. The people of the 100 Beast Pirates are going crazy. That is Kaido of the Beasts, one of the 6 emperors, who will not die if he falls from a height of 10,000 meters, a man with an immortal body, Kaido. Did you fail like this? Moreover, the injury was so bad. Shajirching, how strong is it? I don't know how many people think this way in their hearts. Kaido was defeated so easily. What would the battlefield look like when he joined the battle? Nobody knows. But one thing is clear to everyone. That is, they are even less dominant. The addition of Shajirching will inevitably make the situation more inclined towards the Summer Chamber of Commerce. They didn't have much advantage originally, and now that Shajirching has joined, how can they fight? Everyone, do you want to continue? However, continue at your own risk. Shajirching's eyes swept to the sea soldiers, the beast pirates, the Bigu Mum pirates, and said with a smile. But this made everyone shudder. Whenever Shajirching showed this smile, nothing good happened. Cool, your kid's strength is really invincible. Kaido's level is not your enemy. Even though it's happened once, it's still shocking to see it with my own eyes. Whitebeard laughed. It's a bit old, it's not good, it will be your young people's world from now on. Marshal Sengoku, do you want to continue? If you continue, the loss will not be ordinary. Shajirching looked at Sengoku, not Akainu. Because the former is more calm and better negotiating. I'm not a marshal, I have no right to carry out this matter. Sengoku looked at Shajirching and said seriously. His implication was to ask what Akainu meant. After all, he is not a marshal now, so he should do less of the things he does. Then it seems that you are going to continue fighting. That's just right, let's destroy you here. But Shajirching didn't have the heart to talk to Akainu, and there was no way to talk to him. Arrogant, do you really take us as heir? Let us see your strength. Shajirching, don't be too arrogant. At this moment, there were several loud shouts from the world government. I saw 3 people dressed in special agent clothes rushing over, exuding the same breath as Batang Maru. Chapter 890. You really have changed. When the 3 of us join forces, even Admiral can only admit defeat and tremble at our strength. The 3 of them came together to attack, with confidence on their faces. One blade stream Libo. In the face of the 3 rushing in, Shajirching spoke indifferently. Then, everyone saw a cold light whizzing past. Immediately, there was a dull explosion, 3 figures burst out of the air, and a huge wave was drawn on the sea in the distance. What if Admiral is not your opponent? Will Admiral be my opponent? Shajirching proudly said softly, the voice is not loud, but it is like the voice of hell, making people shudder. When everyone looked again, they saw that the 3 had completely disappeared. In connection with the scene just now, it is not difficult to imagine what happened. So strong 3 people, just one blow and it's over. The 3 people have no resistance at all, this is really too strong. Looking at this scene, everyone couldn't help but say this in their hearts. Marine's morale was even lower. It is too frightening to fight such an enemy, and there is no hope of victory at all. Shajur looks so sluggish and so terrifying. That ghost knows how terrifying he will be when he recovers. Akainu, do you want to continue? Shajur looked at Akainu who was fighting with Dragon and asked. The faces of all the sailors I saw were a little pale, their eyes panicked, and they were sweating profusely. I don't mind being your opponent if you want. But trust me, you won't last a minute in my hands. If someone else said such arrogant words, they would definitely be regarded as insane. But unfortunately, this person is Shajur. No one would think so. Everyone believes that he is just telling the truth, he has this strength. Damn guy, don't be too arrogant to me, it's just evil, justice will definitely suppress you. Akainu roared loudly, but no matter how he heard it, he felt a little lack of confidence. And this scene was broadcast in real time to the whole world through reporters from major newspapers. This kind of battle made the whole world panic. It was the pirates who had the upper hand. This is not great. Moreover, this situation is a bit strange no matter how you look at it. The 100 Beasts pirates, the Big Human pirates are leaderless. The rest of the people were also at a loss, looking like they were throwing a rat. On the other hand, the people in the Summer Chamber of Commerce are all as if they have taken stimulants, and their fighting spirit is extremely high. According to the current situation, it seems that after this battle, the biggest force in the sea is the Summer Chamber of Commerce Alliance. And such an alliance, is it good or bad? Many people have no idea. So, they are quite anxious. In the scene, the situation is also very anxious. Katakuri and the others finally built up collapsed again in Shajur performance just now. The battle situation can be said to be tilted towards the Summer Chamber of Commerce Alliance. If possible, could you please give me a face? At this moment, a steady voice came. Yes, that man is here, and he comes with the power of face fruit. The last of the 6 emperors, the red-haired Shanks, join us. Yo Shanks, long time no see. When Shanks arrived, Shajur greeted him very kindly. I didn't expect you to have reached this level, amazing. Shanks also looked at Shajur with a smile on his face. Then he said with a serious face, give me a face, Shajur stop the war. Keep fighting, it's not good for the whole world, and you don't want to see the world in turmoil. When Shajur heard the words, she couldn't help shrugging. I'm fine, it's up to Marine and their opinions. I can stop the war at any time, but whether they can stop the war or not depends on whether they want it or not. He said that the situation is light, of course, he also has this capital. Damn, stop saying such kind words, of course you won't have back pain when you stand talking. His words immediately made the sailors angry. Isn't that true? Shajur heard the words and shrugged again. The Marines were really speechless, but they gritted their teeth in hatred. Marshal Akainu, what do you think? Shanks looked at Akainu again and asked for his opinion. HMPH, what conditions do you have? Akainu isn't that rigid either. Knowing that with the current situation, if we continue to let the war go on, Marine will have nothing to do except sacrifice in vain. So, take it easy. But it still looks very ugly. The terms are also simple. Reparations, and a peace agreement to designate the Windless Belt as a marine forbidden area. Then, give me a few waterways of your world government, and give us a copy of the right to use the Red Earth continent. Shajur said it casually, but Akainu's face turned black. What is the difference between this condition and robbery? Give them a copy of the right to use the Red Earth continent. What a joke. Will the Tenryubido group agree? Would the Gorosei 5 elders be willing? It's impossible without thinking, it's just hitting them in the face. If you don't agree, then you have to continue, right, Shanks? Shajur indifferent look made the Marines really want to slap him twice in the face. But can't beat it. The condition is that we can't be the master for the time being. Why don't we do this, temporarily stop the war, and both of us will withdraw our troops. Then, how about waiting for us to communicate with the Gorosei, 5 elders? Sengoku spoke up at this time and made a pertinent opinion. How about the red-haired Shanks being the witness? Sengoku, in the end, the opinion is really old. No problem, I'm sure the Gorosei, 5 elders will agree. After all, I'm still the boss of your world government, and they will never refuse. Shajur-Ching is, it doesn't matter, he has a bargaining chip anyway. Sengoku was speechless. Shajur-Ching's robber-like logic is really impeccable. But unfortunately, Sengoku has no way to refute. Are you sure what you say really counts? At this time, Akainu's voice came again, still full of gloom. Of course, when I talk it doesn't count. Shajur-Ching said unequivocally. Okay, I hope you can count. I promise a truce. Hearing Shajur-Ching's words, Akainu actually agreed to a truce. If it was before, Akainu would never agree to such a condition. But now, after all, his identity is different, and he can no longer do things in the same way as before. You would actually agree, this is really the sun coming out of the west. Shajur-Ching said in surprise. He thought that Akainu would be tough to the end. Chapter 891 Unprecedented Power. HMPH, the old man is not the kind of person who will do useless work. Akainu said coldly when he heard the words. His face was very ugly. Could it be that in Shajur-Ching's eyes, is he so unbearable? Little ones, close your troops. Since both sides support a truce, there is not much to say. Oh, victory, tilde. The members of the Summer Chamber of Commerce couldn't help shouting excitedly. Faced with their voice, although the sea soldiers were very unhappy, they could only acquiesce. No way, really, according to the situation, if the plan continues, the final loser must be theirs. The pirates won. Marine voluntarily admit defeat. The people of the allied countries all over the world couldn't help but be stunned, and then couldn't help but curse. Bah, shame, this is Marine. Is this enough to keep us safe? What a joke, you can't even beat pirates, what's the use of raising you rubbish? Thanks to our trust in you, so you repay us like this. The world is boiling. Mariajoy. The Gorosei, 5 elders also knew the outcome of everything through the telephony bug. Now, what to do? Gorosei, 5 elders, wearing glasses and holding the second generation of ghosts, asked with anxiety in his expression. Bearded Gorosei, 5 elders. Damn, we should have followed Lord I.M. Hornbird Gorosei, 5 elders. Kong should also go with him. If he was there, why would it be like this? Blonde Gorosei, 5 elders. It's too late to say anything, let's discuss how to negotiate with this fellow Shajur-Ching. Curly-haired Gorosei, 5 elders. Lord I.M. can't fail. That's the heart of the whole thing. On this point, the other 4 also agreed. I.M. was the emperor, and they were the prime ministers, and Kong was the admiral army. The world government cannot be without the emperor I.M. Before the war, no one would have thought that things would turn out like this. It was the sudden appearance of Shajur-Ching, which was beyond everyone's expectations. But I can be sure that the Shajur-Ching who went to Laugh Tale on the far sea is also real. But in 2 places at the same time, how did this happen? Could it be that he can't be cloned? At this point, they are quite puzzling. I've never heard of Shajur-Ching's twin brother. But if you let them know that Shajur-Ching has a technique that does not belong to this world, they will probably be relieved. In the end, the world government agreed to Shajur-Ching's conditions. First, open 2 world government exclusive waterways, which will be used by the Summer Chamber of Commerce for free for 10 years. All waypoints on the road will be checked by the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Second, open up the right to use the Red Soil continent for a period of 10 years. Third, the indemnity is 125 billion Bailey. Fourth, this war, just like this, was over under Marine's aggrieved admit defeat. In later generations, this battle will be called Rise of God's War, also called Sea Battle in the Windless Belt. But is all this really over? Akainu felt that all this could not end like this. Marine's humiliating battle must not just let it go. He had to make Shajirching and the others pay the price. But he also clearly knew that it would be difficult to do all this. What kind of enemy Shajirching is, after this battle, I believe the whole world has been clear. Bounty now has no effect on him. Marine's prestige also fell to the bottom after this battle. Only 5 days until the end of the war. Every day, Akainu receives abuse from people all over the world. However, he couldn't retaliate, which made him extremely depressed for a time. However, when the sea fluctuated because of that battle, the small waves also continued. Among all the small waves, the one that attracts the most attention is probably the story of the beast pirates being stolen from their homes. At the time of the sea battle in the Windless Zone, there was also a big battle between Onishima and Wano-kuni in the New World. The remaining retainers from Kazuki Oden, with the young master Momonosuke, launched a battle of revenge against Kurozumi Orochi, the current Admiral Army of Wano-kuni. And in Ghost Island, Straw Hat Luffy Alliance, Kid Pirates, Magician Pirates. He clashed with the pirates of the 100 Beasts pirates who were going to Wano-kuni to support him, and rescued the prisoner in the Totten. The face of the Beast Pirates was completely smashed. Afterwards, Straw Hat Luffy and others fought against the returning 3 calamities. In the end, the 3 disasters were outnumbered and defeated. In one fell swoop, he achieved the name of the Supernova 4 Giants. The Beast Pirates' reputation plummeted. In addition, Kaido was severely injured, and the news of the casualty version was also spread, and people on the sea began to act restlessly. Countless pirates have all started to take action, preparing to devour the huge cake of the Beast Pirates. Even the headquarters of the 100 Beasts Pirates, everyone's hearts are floating, and many people have directly defected. Either crack the earth and become king, or turn elsewhere. But when these people get there and want to start their sweet dreams, but helplessly discovered that the site of the 100 Beast Pirates had already been swallowed up by the Summer Chamber of Commerce, the Whitebeard Pirates, the Flying Pirates, the Big Umam Pirates, and the Revolutionary Army. All the pirates suddenly woke up. Who dares to fight with them? No. All back down. This is a force that even the world government has to back down. The remaining beast pirates are either fighting or on the way to fight. Or, become a homeless, wandering ronin. This sea is really terrifyingly swollen. Someone sighed and said, extremely worried. Even an emperor-level pirate group like the 100 Beasts Pirates has fallen. This kind of dream thing has happened, and then there is nothing that can't happen in the future. This kind of turbulent feeling makes people very uneasy, and there is even panic in many places, and the law and order is suddenly chaotic. After all, now that Marine has been defeated, its prestige has plummeted, the Beast Pirates have been swallowed up again, and the pirate power is unprecedentedly strong. There is nothing to deter the pirates, and the end of a common people seems to be coming. The people feel that it is impossible to expect the pirates to protect them. Not to mention, that's the truth. The Summer Chamber of Commerce, the Whitebeard Pirates, and the Revolutionary Army issued a joint statement. The sea needs stability, and people in various regions are asked to settle their duties. If there is a loss, you can ask for support, and they will immediately send people to attack. For this statement from the Summer Chamber of Commerce, people all over the world couldn't help but be immediately stunned. When did pirates talk so well? It will also protect the interests of their people. Chapter 892 The sea has changed. But although I don't understand what's going on. However, with this statement from the Summer Chamber of Commerce Alliance, they have something to fight against other people who want to make trouble. According to their words, with the support of the Summer Chamber of Commerce Alliance, they have enough confidence. Not afraid of any enemy. With such an operation, there are countless people in the sea who want to scold Shajirching. But no one dared to mess around. In the end, he was still afraid of Shajirching's majesty. And on the other side, on the summer issue, We also welcomed a heavyweight guest here. Shajirqing's deity. President, you've come to the fore. Without your deity, it's really uncomfortable. Enel said with a sigh of relief, beating the thunder drum as if to welcome Shajirqing. Yeah, that really worries you, but it's not easy to catch up with you guys. The ghost weather in this new world, even at my speed, took several days. Shajirqing glanced at the other self on the boat, made a seal, and the latter slowly turned into a thunderbolt and disappeared. It turned out to be Ray's clone. Then, go all out to laugh tail going. The secret of the final land is already open to us. Shajirqing said proudly. It's just a pity that I couldn't participate in that battle, it's really a pity, I think it must be fierce. Enel said frantically, looking quite excited. Don't worry, there will be another battle waiting for you in the future. The world government will not just let it go. We will have a fight with them. Also, that day is not far away. Shajirqing said with a smile. Well, then I'm relieved. Hey, that sounds pretty good. With Shajirqing's words, Enel was relieved. You are not injured, why don't you let us take the burden of such a fierce war? Anna looked at Shajirqing with a look of resentment, and groped around him to see if he was injured or not. Hancock too, wished he could melt into his arms. Don't worry, it's just a world government, what can I do? Listening to this, Shajirqing bold issue, endless hockey. Everyone present couldn't help but smile when they heard the words. This is their president, a man with a hockey skyrocketing. And when they were heading towards Laugh Tail going, the new world, Cake Island, also welcomed their enemies. Summer Chamber of Commerce Alliance, Revolutionary Army. Is it really necessary to fight? Big Umum said with a rather gloomy expression, with a faint hint of humility. But she couldn't help but bow her head. The situation has no advantage at all for him. Cool, it's all doomed the moment you decide to fight. If you want to blame, it's your choice, right? You should know the rules of the new world, the stronger is the greatest. Whitebeard grinned at Isho, not much killing intent, but the meaning was unusually determined. Damn, the old lady is fighting with you. Hearing Whitebeard's words, Big Umum was directly angry. Cool, let me see how much power you have left, Linlin. Whitebeard rushed out, blasting out like a knife that shook the world, and collided with Big Umum. The world trembled violently, and the conqueror haki of the two emperors was released with a bang, causing a terrifying storm of the king, and I don't know how many people were stunned. The sky and the ocean changed color because of the confrontation between the two emperors. But what the final result will be, one can imagine. The Summer Chamber of Commerce Alliance has no reason to lose. The Big Umum pirates became history. The occurrence of this incident also greatly shocked everyone on the sea. Although they knew that day would come sooner or later. But they did not expect that this day would come so quickly. It was only a few days before the sea battle in the Windless Belt, and this kind of war broke out again. In this way, there are only 4 remaining emperors in the whole world. It seems that the situation has returned to its original state all of a sudden. But you must know that in addition to the independence of the red hair, the 3 emperors of the adventure are in a cooperative relationship. In other words, the emperor of the New World is almost monolithic. Marine, the world government can no longer compete with it. The power represented by the title of the 4 emperors has reached unprecedented power. The world is completely out of balance. This world has begun to get out of our control. Mariajoy, when the Gorosei 5 elders got the news, the whole person was covered. Then, only a wry smile. There is absolutely no way. One wrong step. The Windless Belt naval battle misunderstood the strength of the Summer Chamber of Commerce and their strength, and did not expect to say that Shajirqing would be there, and the Revolutionary Army would also intervene. This led to their failure, and from then on, they could only humiliately live under others. Who made them less powerful than others? In this regard, the Sea of the New World has once again returned to the situation of the four emperors. On that day, the ship that was escorted to the backbone of the Bigumum pirates who were imprisoned on Sky Island caused a shock to everyone in the entire sea. That's Bigumum, the female emperor who has been in the sea for decades, and now, being caught like this, it's really numb to the scalp. It's really terrifying strength. In the future, this sea will be the world of the Summer Chamber of Commerce. I feel like our end has come. What's the future for us? A group of pirates who have been fighting on the sea all their lives suddenly feel a little confused. They suddenly couldn't see where the road ahead was. Sky Island Wetland Prison. It's quite lively here today. What's the matter? What happened? Zephyr opened his eyes. He saw a group of people from the Bigum pirates who were escorted in, all dejected. Hey, has Bigumum been arrested? What is this kid Shajur-Ching going to do? Zephyr couldn't help being a little stunned when he saw that the huge Bigumum had been caught. So exciting. You don't need to worry about our affairs. You should worry about yourself and cherish the time you have now. The jailer spoke with an expressionless face and locked Bigumum in the number 2 prison cell. This made Zephyr frown, then, shrugging, leaned back against the wall. The jailer didn't seem to be wrong. These things, what did he do? Why bother? Anyway, he couldn't do anything even if he was worried. But in the sea outside, the fall of the Bigumum pirates caused huge fluctuations. All the forces that once cooperated with the Bigumum pirates were suddenly all partners or lost their asylum. Chapter 893 One Piece, King of Pirates, I'm sure. They are already busy looking for the next one. But there are not many objects they can choose. Summer Chamber of Commerce. Whitebeard Pirates. The Flying Pirates. The Red Hair Pirates. Revolutionary Army. There are only a few options in total. They can only choose their partners from among these people. Others are not enough to bless them. Marine Headquarters. Damn pirate, how dare you be so arrogant. One day, I will let you know how good I am. I will destroy you all. Justice cannot be desecrated. Akainu was quite incompetent and furious, and shouted angrily. Well, compared to that, let's take this opportunity to strengthen our own strength. Now the situation is quite unfavorable for us, we must change our development strategy. Kuzan is still calm, but he is also very uncomfortable with the current situation. He is not at ease when handing over the security of the sea to pirates. In this world, Shajur-Ching's existence is only a minority after all. Giving the sea to pirates is a very unwise choice. Although they have no chance to resist now. But that doesn't stop them from trying hard. HMPH, that's all, just wait, scumbags of the sea, I'll make you regret it. Akainu agrees with Kuzan's idea. Maritime. Has the Bigumum pirates been wiped out? The sea may finally calm down a little. When the news of the destruction of Bigumum reached Shajur-Ching, he seemed quite calm. Everything is happening according to his ideas, naturally there is no surprise. At sea, there were no other ships behind the summer. The closer it is to the island of Mercury, the worse the environment will be. Although it can be said that it is almost sailing within its own sphere of influence along the way, even so, there are many dangers encountered by the summer. Natural disasters, as well as biological attacks from under the sea, and attacks from the natives of certain indisputable islands. Just like the place called Qianlong Island that the summer cruise passed by the day before yesterday. It is full of familiar styles from Shajur-Ching's previous life, and the people on the island use a fighting method called Nei Jin, which is quite powerful. If it wasn't for knowing that he was still in the world of One Piece, King of Pirates, Shajur-Ching would have already traveled through it by himself. Sure enough, the sea is as big as it is full of wonders. Shajur-Ching smiled and became more interested in the Shui Shenxing Island ahead. I didn't expect such a magical place in the world, it's amazing. Beside him, Anna's face looked incredible, however, their food is really delicious, and the architecture is so beautiful, it makes people feel like going to heaven. Hancock also praised the gifts that the women gave to the concubine. The effect is also very good. The concubine feels that the skin has become a lot smoother. As for Enel and others, they are enjoying the deliciousness of Qianlong Island. They bought a lot of Qianlong Island's specialties, and all of them were full of intoxication. Daddy, the candied gourd in Qianlong Island is so delicious, can we establish a cooperative relationship with him? In this way, Sakura can eat this delicious food every day. Shajariang said to Shajurching like a little greedy ghost. Come back and talk about it, Sakura, although candied haws are delicious, you can't eat too much, otherwise, you won't be able to eat them after you get tooth decay. Shajurching looked at Shajariang, whose mouth was full of candy, and said helplessly. Well, in order to continue to eat delicious food in the future, then I will eat less. When Shajariang heard the words, she immediately looked very aggrieved. All the people present couldn't help but laugh. This little girl is really cute. 3 days later. They have reached the last big level to Laugh Tale. The Whirlpool. Just like its name, a super severe weather composed of countless vortex groups. Moreover, each vortex group is terrifyingly large, and the smallest one has a diameter of 500 meters. It is the king of the sea, and the sea emperors can only stay away. It is necessary to dive into the deep sea to escape the power of this whirlpool. And the most terrifying thing is that in front of this vortex of 10,000 currents, there is an abyss waterfall like the island of CFA. It was a place with a diameter of 20 kilometers and was called the Devil's Eye. It is a magical pit, connecting the center of the earth, and the water of the vortex of thousands of streams will be poured into it from there. Hundreds of millions of tons of water, accelerated by tens of thousands of meters of potential energy, is a terrorist attack that can destroy any object. Nothing can stop the confrontation. If you want to pass, you can only dive into the bottom of the sea, and then you have to avoid the eye of the devil and pass through the only life tunnel on the bottom of the sea. It is unrealistic to want to fly through the sky. Because the sky is full of thunderclouds all year round, it is very sensitive. As long as any object passes by, there will be no scum that will be obliterated by the thunderous punishment. As expected of a new world, it really is scary enough. Shajurching directed the ship to dock towards the surrounding islands, looking for a place to coat. If you want to enter the seabed, you can't do it without coating. Asahi Island. This is a very prosperous island in the second half of the New World. It is the sphere of influence of the Summer Chamber of Commerce. However, the manager is the original owner of the island, and the people from the Summer Chamber of Commerce are only responsible for business activities. The reason for this is because the personnel composition on this island is too complicated, and only the original island owner can satisfy everyone. Therefore, under the special approval of Shajurching, this special management method was formed. At this moment, the people of this island are boiling. The reason is naturally because Shajurching is here. What? Lord Shajurching is here. My God, don't hurry up to meet him. This is the biggest opportunity to get in touch with Shajurching. The manager of the Summer Chamber of Commerce branch is extremely excited, and it is obvious that he will finally have the opportunity to show his face in front of Shajurching. Is Shajurching here? Can I finally meet the real person? It's really exciting. And the original owner of this island couldn't help showing a smile after hearing the news. Speaking of which, this was the first time he had seen Shajurching. Let me see if this man is called the strongest man in the world. He has 3 heads and 6 arms as rumored. The island owner is a rather elegant person, dressed in white, swinging a fan, and wearing a style that is quite out of tune with the world of pirates. It seems that they are quite excited. After landing, Shajurching couldn't help laughing as he looked at the swarming islanders. That's right, you don't even look at your own status now, you are here, can they not be excited? Anna couldn't help but rolled his eyes at him. Chapter 894. Can the miracle be repeated? Is this the car of the strongest man? It's really powerful. It makes people feel despair at first sight. This kind of ship, I am afraid, has the ability to capture an island at will. As expected of the 6 emperors, that's enough hockey. The island owner looked at Shajurching and said this in his heart. Lord Shajurching, you are welcome. Before the island owner could speak, the staff of the Summer Chamber of Commerce had already stepped forward excitedly. Hello, hard work. Shajurching nodded kindly to each of them. All of a sudden, they were all very excited, and they felt that they had reached the peak of their lives in an instant. They felt like they were full of motivation. Then, Shajurching looked at the island owner. Islander Tarkins, I'm bothering you. Tarkins was a little surprised that Shajurching could call his name correctly. In my heart, Shajurching couldn't help but look at it a little higher. He is just one of the many partners of the Summer Chamber of Commerce, and he is the most inconspicuous existence. But it was really not easy for Shajurching to be able to call out his name. Obviously, Shajurching was either born with knowledge, or had done his homework in advance. But no matter which one, it will make people very good. I've admired the name for a long time. I finally saw you today. Please, I have set up a banquet, and you are welcome. Although Tarkins felt that in terms of his own strength, he did not need to fear too many people. But if this object is Shajurching, he thinks it is better to be cautious. Shajurching was not an ordinary person after all. That's the trouble. Thank you for the reception. Shajurching thanked her, took the hands of the 2 women, and introduced, my love, Anna, Boa Hancock. I have seen the 2 ladies, greeting you. Tarkins said very gentlemanly. Hello, Tarkins Island Lord. Anna said calmly and gently. Hancock, on the other hand, is naturally proud and luxurious. In addition to slandering Shajurching, he seldom looked at others differently, so he just nodded. Tarkins also knew Hancock's temperament and didn't care. 3 rounds of wine. Your Excellency Shajurching is here for the purpose of coding, but, if you want me to say, the Wanliu Vortex and the Devil's Eye are not easy to deal with. If you're not in a hurry, I think you can wait a bit. When the tide of the sea ebbs, and the strength weakens, the danger will be much less. Tarkins looked at Shajurching and said very sincerely. It's okay, Tarkins Islander, don't underestimate the summer. This is what I spent all the money to create, and it's more powerful than you can imagine. Stop talking, come and drink. This island is really good. It has natural geomantic treasures, forests, plains, and deserts. Shajurching raised a glass and invited him to drink, and Tarkins was also Isho. It seems that I underestimate your excellency, so let's drink it today. The gongs were staggered, and the 2 of them soon drank almost the same. Surrounded by the crew and the people on the island, the whole island is happy and auspicious. By nightfall, the banquet was over. Shajurching got up and said goodbye with alcohol, and Tarkins personally sent them to the hotel. At the moment when Shajurching closed the door, Tarkins, who was still full of drunkenness just now, suddenly turned into the elegant appearance before. Shajurching, can you be the second Roger? Just let me see. Whether the miracle of One Piece, King of Pirates, will appear again is really exciting. If I hadn't been able to go out to sea, I would really like to go to the sea to see it. With that said, he left the hotel. In the room, Shajurching was standing in front of the window with a smile on his face. Where was the drunkenness just now? Even the smell of alcohol is almost gone. Is this Tarkins reliable? Why do I feel a little unreliable? This person looks very shrewd. Anna appeared beside her and said. Don't worry, Chungfushan doesn't mean it's an enemy, and Tarkins won't mess around. There is a sentence Shajurching didn't say. He doesn't have the guts. How long do you plan to stay on the island? Anna asked again. After hearing this, Shajurching said, we will set off when the coding is completed. You can also take advantage of this time to replenish supplies on the island. I have to say, going is good within your sphere of influence, and you have all kinds of materials you want. I was so wise, quack. Hearing Shajur bragging, Anna couldn't help but rolled his eyes at him and, lightly, stepped on his feet. Just in time to be bored. Why don't you do something interesting after drinking? Anna suddenly spit out a coquettish sound, her eyes became blurred, and her body exuded fragrance. Shajur immediately reacted when she heard the words, but before she had time to act, Anna threw herself on the bed. You don't play cards according to the routine. Shajur would never lose the initiative. As soon as her waist was twisted, she would counterattack Anna, but Anna was not Hancock and obeyed every word. Anna is a wild horse, and it is not easy to subdue her. But after a world of reversal, after the battle between dragons and tigers, Anna still suffered a physical loss and lost to Shajur. Hey, little girl, I want to counter this uncle, but there is no way. Looking at the beautiful woman under her, Shajur lowered her head and kissed her flaming red lips. 40 minutes later. Technology has improved again, little man. Anna stroked Shajur face with her pale fingers and said with a smile. That's right, you don't even look at who I am. Shajur isho, and then said, just in time for the day's journey, take a bath and call Hancock along. No matter what, he laughed a little bit evilly. HMPH, whatever you want. Anna snorted, sticking firmly to Shajur like an octopus. Shajur got up, wrapped the two of them with the sheets, and walked to the bathroom. By the way, I took Hancock, who is always shy about this kind of thing. The Mandarin duck bath is the dream of many men throughout the ages. And now, Shajur is enjoying this kind of blessing. These days are really good, no wonder they say Wenru Township, Hero Tomb, it's true, it's really hard to let go. But it's a bit tiring, and that's probably the price. Shajur leaned in the oversized bathtub and said rather tiredly. And Anna and Hancock were talking quietly, laughing happily. And when Shajur was enjoying the treatment of Gentle Township. In Tarkin's office. Islander, is it really good for those people to stay on the island? Those people are Shajur life and death enemies. If they knew that Shajur was on this island, they would not miss this opportunity. Chapter 895. You'd better weigh in. Would you like to take some precautions? If there is an accident, we can't explain it to Shajur. A woman who looked like a secretary, reminded aloud. Don't worry, Shaji, I have already asked someone to do this. Of course I won't ignore something so important. After all, we can't afford to mess with this man who lives on the island now. Tarkin's Isho. He pulled the woman into his arms, and his hands began to be dishonest. And in another room on this island. 3 of them were very large and dressed differently. Have you heard, that bastard Shajur has settled down on this island? I think this is a great opportunity to get our revenge. Brother Jin, what do you think? As soon as the name Jin came out, the identities of these 3 people could be imagined. It is none other than Jin, Queen and Jack of the 3 calamities. I think it's possible, but I'm afraid it can't be done. Jin's first half sentence made Queen and Jack very excited, but in the second half, they couldn't agree. Why can't we do it? Is there anything we can't do with our strength? Jack said very confidently. Queen was also puzzled. I can create all kinds of germs and kill them silently. Even if he can't handle Shajur, he can still make him pay a huge price. He was quite confident in these words. Well, it's certainly no problem if it's on our own turf. But, you forgot, we are just wanderers now, and we are still on someone else's Shajur territory. Do you think Shajur subordinates are vegetarians? They have already monitored everything we said just now. Jin sighed, then looked out the door with extremely sharp eyes. Right, Absalom. What? Hearing his words, Queen and Jack immediately became alert. As expected of Jin, the leader of the 3 disasters, he is really powerful. I didn't expect that I was already hidden so deeply, and I was still discovered by you. Absalom appeared, full of amazement. If it wasn't for Shajur territory, and he happened to be on the island, you would be dead now. Jin looked at Absalom, showing no mercy. This made Absalom's just raised self-goodness vanish in an instant. But he still leaned against the door gracefully and said, "It doesn't matter, but I have already spread your conspiracy just now. So, if you want to do something, please weigh your strengths. What does it mean to be backed by a big tree to enjoy the shade? This is what Absalom is doing now. HMPH, so what, I can strike right now and throw the island into chaos. At that time, we can still execute our plan." Jack was very displeased with Absalom's tone. In the past, he didn't even look at things like Absalom, and he dared to be presumptuous in front of them. If it was before, he would have already killed Absalom. "If you don't have anything else to do, you can get out of here, there's nothing to do with you here." Yan Zonjin opened his mouth and directly issued an expulsion order, which was quite rude. HMPH, it's not up to you guys. If you want me to go, you don't have this right now. Absalom Isho, leaning against the door, you three are too dangerous. If you suddenly do something dangerous, I won't even have a place to cry. You'd better not go too far. Do you really think we are easy to bully? If it weren't for Shajir Ching's face, you would have died many times now. Give you 3 numbers to leave, otherwise, I can't tell you to let you experience our methods. Queen was smoking a cigarette, her eyes flashing with a cold light. Cut. In the end, Absalom left the door and squatted in the corridor. His duty is to watch over these 3 people, and although he is also afraid of the power of these 3 people, his duty is his duty, and he cannot deviate from it. I didn't expect these 3 people to be on this island. Interesting, interesting. After the Mandarin duck bath, Shajir Ching hugged the 2 girls like this, lying on the bed brightly, enjoying the blessings of everyone. However, it's a little surprising that they can hold back. But it doesn't matter, it's just a prodigal dog. As soon as Shajir Ching closed his eyes, he fell asleep. The summer number is too large, and the coding takes about 2 or 3 days. Therefore, during this period of time, Shajir Ching and the others can have a good time on this island. Shajir Reading was quite excited about this. Being able to stop and play is really great news for her. It's just that, no matter how you look at it, Shajir Ching, who has 2 faint panda eyes, looks a little lacking in energy. On the contrary, Hancock, Anna and the 2 daughters are radiant, and Isho's frown has attracted many people's spring hearts. On this island, Shajir Ching also saw a different kind of scenery and met a few familiar people. Such as Moria, Absalom. I didn't expect them to choose to stay here, this is also an interesting thing. Shajir Ching said calmly. Tarkins shook his fan and said, "Yeah, I didn't expect that they would choose to settle in a place like me. After all, he is such a big man, different from a small man like me." Hearing what he said, Shajir Ching couldn't help laughing and couldn't deny it. If Tarkins is weak, how can he suppress the strong men on this island? On this island, the people are sturdy, and everyone has the strength to subdue about 5 million Baileys of bounty criminals. If Tarkins is weak, it is absolutely impossible to convince these people. However, I didn't expect this final place to be so difficult to walk. No wonder it has been there for many years, and only one Roger has been there. Listening to Shajir Ching's emotion, Tarkins said, "But right away, you can become the second one." Shajir Ching said, "Then it's your blessing." 3 days later, Shajir Ching and others set sail again. "I hope to hear good news from you when I come back again." At the edge of the port, Tarkins congratulated, and Shajir Ching nodded. "Of course, just wait for my good news." Then, in the eyes of everyone, the Shah behemoth sank little by little, causing huge tidal changes. Damn, such a good opportunity was just wasted by us. Watching Shajir Ching leave, in a certain room, Jack's face was filled with resentment. Chapter 896. I take back what I just said. We don't have the strength to fight against it now, so let's endure it. Master Kaido is still in a coma, and we can only swallow it. This sea is not what it used to be. Yan Zongjin squeezed the handle of the knife and said. Such a low voice, he is naturally very resentful, feeling very aggrieved. However, there is no way, this is the truth. They are inferior to people. Just hide and hide. Back to Shajirqing. Although it is not the first time that everyone has entered the seabed. But when they saw the underwater scene of the Wanliu whirlpool, everyone couldn't help but marvel at the wonder of the creator. Its nature, no matter how strong manpower is, it still can't compete with it. Under this whirlpool, even the summer number is just an ant. Looking at the thick whirlpools with a diameter of several kilometers, everyone couldn't help but feel a scalp tingling. Especially those with devil fruit abilities. The deep sea makes them feel very depressed. The summer number avoided the whirlpool far away, otherwise, it would be over if it got involved. The summer issue is bound to be torn to shreds. The summer number kept sinking. All kinds of marine creatures continue to appear, and the sea kings also begin to appear. But in the face of the Big Mac level summer and the terrifying atmosphere of everyone on board, few sea kings dared to approach. And then, for a more secure going, Shajirqing even grabbed 2 sea emperors to help. This time, basically no creature dared to approach them. After sinking for nearly 5 kilometers, the whirlpool flow almost disappeared, and it became much calmer. The summer number began to travel through the whirlpool of thousands of streams. Nami, the course is up to you, our lives are up to you, genius navigator. Shajirqing looked at Nami, who confidently took over the commanding position and said, Take it easy on me, Lord President. After handing over the command to Nami, Shajirqing lay on the sofa in the bow, closing her eyes and resting. Some things are left to professionals. No need to do it yourself. Nami was moved by her own captain's behavior and couldn't help but complain. Impressed is the confidence in yourself. What is complaining is, do you really believe that you can do it? Although she is indeed very capable. Well, if you can't figure it out, then we're even worse. As if seeing Nami's expression and hearing her thoughts, Shajirqing suddenly said. Nami suddenly lost her mind. She's the president, I'm afraid she can read minds. I'm afraid. But I have to say that Nami's technology is indeed quite good, manipulating the summer ship to smoothly shuttle in the ocean. Soon, everyone heard a majestic sound of water, as if the gods were roaring, terrifying. It was like an explosion inside their souls, making people panic. They knew that the devil's eye had arrived. Everyone saw that on their right, there was a huge dark hole, just like the mouth of the abyss, and it was chilling. Moreover, everyone clearly felt a huge pulling force coming. The summer number was like a humble ant, and it was pulled over without the slightest resistance. Even the hull of the summer ship began to tremble, as if it was about to be disintegrated and torn apart. Incomparably scary, there are many sea kings around, they can't escape, and they are constantly struggling in horror. That is, the 2 sea emperors were torn apart and killed instantly. Come on, the powerful tearing power from the devil's eye, get ready, we are going to speed up the going. Brother Gills, speed up the northeast direction. Nami gave the going order and said to Gills, who is in control of the power of the entire ship. Don't worry, leave it to me. Gilzer responded and released all the power of the summer. In an instant, a gigantic force erupted. Everyone on the ship felt that the ship was shaking violently, and there were rolling waves in the sea. In this way, the summer number slowly broke free from the force and began to going steadily. It's a terrifying power. Under this kind of pulling force, you can still go stably. You really have to have the defensive power of a ship like the summer, so that the ship will not be destroyed. Otherwise, it would have been torn into slag. Everyone couldn't help but exclaimed, and deeply felt the power of this summer number. Hey, this is a power that can be compared with the Sea Emperor class. If you go all out, even the Sea Emperor class is no match. Hearing this, Gills couldn't help but smile proudly. Be careful, the big guy is coming. At this moment, Anna made a sound, and everyone felt it, and prepared for battle. Hey, I didn't expect such a big monster to exist under the deep sea. It really makes my scalp numb. Enel held the glowing thunder gun in his hand and looked at the sea creatures rushing towards them, showing infinite fighting intent. This is a sea emperor with obvious hostility, a beaver fish dragon. His size is so huge that the Shasha is in front of him, and only his eyes are as big. The length is at least 1,000 feet away, and the weight should exceed 1 million tons. Few of the people present dared to say that they could defeat such a terrifying monster. This is a monster with the power to destroy islands. As expected of the monsters in the area near the Devil's Eye, the strength and size are different. This fish and dragon is a living island. You all rest, I'll deal with him. This guy is not easy to deal with. Even if the admirals meet this guy, I'm afraid they will find it a little difficult. Of course, if you meet him, there will be no problem. Not all large creatures are necessarily powerful. But the size is large, and the strength is generally not bad. But just as Shajur was about to attack, several monsters with a body size of 500 or 600 meters appeared. Leviathan whale, giraffe shark, octopus monster. These behemoths completely blocked the summer. The eyes are full of fierce colors. Obviously, they are not friendly people. The most important thing is that they were completely unaffected by the terrifying ocean current, and they remained calm. Seeing this scene, Shajur couldn't help but shrug helplessly. It seems that I have to take back what I said earlier. Now I need you to join me. I can't handle so many monsters. If there is such a big creature on the shore, he is completely true, and a sword is enough to kill. But in the sea, especially in the deep sea, it can maintain this size. It can only show that the strength of these monsters has reached a terrifying level that makes the scalp numb. Chapter 897 Larudiv, Arrive. Ha ha ha, it seems that God does not intend to let us stand by and watch the captain operate alone. Seeing this, Enel couldn't help laughing, and suddenly a dazzling thunderbolt came out of him. He created an oxygen bubble using bubble coral obtained from Fishman Island, wrapped himself in it, and rushed out of the ship. Zoro, Didia, Huyuina, and even Anna rushed out wrapped in bubbles. Robin was holding a book and didn't hear anything outside the window. Tezzolo was holding a glass of red wine, tasting it like a nobleman. Gills couldn't go because of the need to control the ship, and so did Nami. As for the others, they basically feel that they don't have that strength, and it's better to stay on the boat and watch. The few humans Shajur saw who were as small as hair dared to be presumptuous in front of them. These sea kings were angry. All attacked. One blade stream Lebo. Thor. Clear the dust and cut it. Steam at high temperature. Rankyaku tempest kick big crescent. But the result can be imagined. Facing the existence of Shajur level, there is almost no possibility of victory. Roar. These monsters also retreated in spite of difficulties, and they quickly retreated when they knew they were invincible. Fleeing really fast, otherwise, I still want to catch them and let them pull the boat for us. Shajur said with a look of pity. I'm about to get out of the gravitational area of the Devil's Eye. Brother Gills, get ready and reduce your power. Nami spoke up again at this time to get Gills ready. Understood. When Gilzer heard Isho, he slowly slowed down the power output. Daddy is amazing. I want to become a person like Daddy in the future. Shajur rushed into Shajur arms and said with a face full of admiration. Okay, well, let's see if Sakura works hard next. Shajur pinched her nose and smiled. The daughter is ambitious, which is good. After the ship left the Devil's Eye, it entered a sparkling sea. What appeared in front of them was the ruins of an underwater city. There are various fishes walking through the city ruins, and various battles are being staged. It's so beautiful. If conditions allow, I really want to explore it. Nico Robin looked at the ruins of the city, closed the book, and said with a look of longing. There will be opportunities in the future. The underwater city really makes people want to explore. Shajirching made a promise, and Robin smiled Isho. Thank you, President, then. Under the control of Nami, the summer number began to surface. Boom! With the sound of a bubble bursting, the summer number once again appeared above the ocean. The scene in front of them was a sunset that dyed the sea red. The blue waters are endless, and the red forest is half. It's a pretty scene. Huo Xiaoyun, it would be nice if it could last a little longer, so maybe people would be reluctant to leave. At this time, Nami spoke up again, and said somewhat unpleasantly, there will be a big storm in 3 minutes, so be prepared. Hearing her words, Enel couldn't help sighing. It's the new world, the devil's land, and the storm will come. The crowd ended their appreciation of the sunset and prepared for the coming storm. 3 minutes later, the storm did come. The dark clouds, thunder and lightning, wrapped in a violent electronic wind, triggered a terrifying tsunami. Each can drown the summer issue. Of course, all this could not be difficult for Shajirching and the others, and they passed it successfully. Everyone continued to sail, and after experiencing various miraculous phenomena, finally, Shui Shenxing Island arrived. It's been decades, and you're the second group to arrive here. If I'm not mistaken, you're the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Shajirching and the others were greeted by some people when they arrived at Mercury Island. An old man looked at Shajirching and said with certainty. Old man has good eyesight. Shajirching couldn't help but praise. This old man was just Isho. The next journey depends on your ability. Even if there are 4 historical texts, it may not be possible to successfully find Laugh-Tale. Hearing the old man's words, Shajirching was forthright and Isho. I believe in my own strength. Laugh-Tale, I will definitely be able to find it. The old man was also Isho, and then, received them properly. After spending 1 night on Mercury Island, everyone set off again, heading towards the final place, Laugh-Tale, at full speed. Searing currents. Tsunami field. The foggy triangle. On the way to Laugh-Tale, natural disasters became more and more intensive. But all this is naturally no problem for Shajirching and the others. All passed safely. Finally, they reach the island that the whole world has dreamed of, Laugh-Tale. This is Laugh-Tale, the last land. Looking at the island in front of him that has the shape of a crown, but is deserted, like a ruin. Not only Shajirching, but everyone else couldn't help but be in disbelief. This is the Laugh-Tale, where they're desperate to come. It's a bit too sloppy. That's right, this is a place where the secrets of the sea are buried, and it's normal to be deserted at all. After all, no one has come for years. Come on guys, let's go up there and see what's different about this Laugh-Tale. Shajirching invited everyone to take a look at the island. Everyone did not refuse, and all went to the island. It's an honor, a recognition, and they deserve it. The island is extremely desolate. Shajirching has not found any breath of life so far. After passing through a jungle, what appeared in front of them was another abandoned ruin. Nico Robin immediately started archaeology. After leaving Enel to protect Nico Robin, everyone wandered away again and came to a huge platform. There were piles of gold and silver jewelry that had been rusted and dusty. But few people present were interested in these things. These treasures are not as good as 1/10,000th of the Summer Chamber of Commerce. What Shajirching was more interested in was the pictures on the stone slabs around the platform. According to the above description, it should be the story of the fall of a kingdom. And what the name of that kingdom was, Shajirching could not interpret. Because of the line of text written behind the screen, he did not recognize it. Just wait for Nico Robin to read it. After wandering around for a long time, the group of them almost traveled all over Laugh-Tale. Laugh-Tale, except for the jungle, which is the ruins. There are ruins in the jungle, and there are trees in the ruins. The entire island is an island of ruins. There is no view, it is very lonely. But none of that is true for Nico Robin. She was completely intoxicated by what was recorded on the ruins. Chapter 898 The Secret of the Final Land. Shazherching knew that what she was interpreting was probably what he wanted. Although he didn't know ancient characters, the characters on some of the ruins were obviously added later, not from the beginning. For 3 whole days, except for Nico Robin, who was interpreting, everyone else was panicking. Fortunately, this area does not restrict communication, and Shazherching can also receive information from the headquarters of the Chamber of Commerce. After simply listening to them report their work, he also told those people that he had arrived at Laugh-Tale. Suddenly, the entire Summer Chamber of Commerce was excited. One Piece King of Pirates, their president has reached it. And this news also spread to Whitebeard, Golden Lion, and Revolutionary Army at the same time. Immediately, the entire sea was once again turbulent. So fast. Isn't that Shazherching, who is resolute? I didn't expect that after decades, a One Piece King of Pirates appeared in the sea again. But the current situation is very strange. Even if Marine is in a hurry, I'm afraid there is no way to interfere too much. People on the sea began to discuss it one after another. And as they discussed, Marine couldn't intervene too much, even if he was in a hurry. You can only get sullen and catch other pirates to combat the arrogance of the pirates. The thing we were most worried about happened after all. You said, what should we do next? Laugh-Tale hides the secrets of our world, Zhejiang government. If he spreads it all out, we are finished. It seems that we need to talk to them again. The world Zhejiang mansion must not go bankrupt. For this, no matter how much you pay, you can. The blonde Gorosei, 5 elders clenched their fists. Indeed. The horn-bearded Gorosei, 5 elders nodded. The other 3 also agreed. The world Zhejiang mansion must not close down, otherwise, it will be over. Marine headquarters. That guy actually arrived at Laugh-Tale so soon, he deserves to be Shazherching. This time it's even more troublesome. Those disturbed people in the sea will definitely become more rampant because of his behavior. We need to prepare in advance, otherwise, the safety of the people will not be guaranteed. Sengoku, Garp and other marine executives gathered together to discuss this matter. Agree. Hearing this, Kuzan immediately voiced his support. Akainu didn't speak, but from the look on his face, he knew he was supportive. The rest of the people also had no opinion. Although the sea today is said to have an advantage in the Summer Chamber of Commerce. But that doesn't mean that their marines are incompetent. Then let's go all out. After a long time, Akainu gave the order. Marine moved immediately. Shazherching is here. After several days of deciphering, Nico Robin also got what Laugh-Tale recorded above. Not to mention, the content is quite shocking. Shazherching also probably understood why the world Jia Zhengfu was so panicked that someone came here. The above content can be divided into several things. The first thing is the truth of the great secret treasure. The big secret treasure is not some gold and silver jewelry, but a piece of news. A way to overthrow the world Zhejiang government and restore freedom to the sea. That is to destroy the Red Soil continent, make the 4 seas united, and become a real free ocean. And if you want to do all this, you need the power of the 3 ancient weapons of the Sea King, the Heavenly King, and the Hades. The second thing is about who Joy Boy is recorded on the steel on Fishman Island. And why he apologized to Fishman Island. According to the above records, Joey Boy is a title, just like One Piece, King of Pirates, is the name of a warrior who fights for the freedom of the world. The only purpose of their existence in the world is to overthrow the rulership of the world and return the world to freedom. In order to completely overthrow the rule of the world Zhejiangfu, it is not only necessary to defeat the world Zhejiangfu, but also to destroy the separation of the Red Earth continent from the sea. Let the sea be completely unified, and the 4 seas will be connected. But because Fishman Island is just below the Red Soil continent, it is the only gap to destroy the Red Soil continent. Therefore, destroying the Red Soil continent will inevitably destroy Fishman Island. So, Joey Boy and Fishman Island made an agreement on behalf of Aquaman and built Noah's Ark. While waiting for Fishman Island to be destroyed, let Sea King relocate the inhabitants of Fishman Island. However, he failed, he never fulfilled the agreement. Therefore, he had to leave a historical text on Fishman Island to apologize and wait for the younger generation to fulfill his dream. But unfortunately, Roger also failed later. But it's not because of his lack of strength, but because he arrived at Laugh Tale too early. Because this generation of Sea King Shirahoshi has not yet been born. Therefore, Roger can only use his own death to open the next era. Led a person to Laugh Tale and pass on this will. And now, the successor that Roger wanted, Shajar Ching, had arrived. The third thing is what Shajar Ching is most interested in. That is the truth of 100 years of blank history concealed by the world Zhejiang government. According to the above records, the 100-year blank history is actually a scam. A specially created scam to keep privileges. Tenryubito created the legend of the Great Waterway, and preached that it was full of gold, silver and jewels, and a powerful position. This has attracted many people to become pirates, resulting in the inability to guarantee the security of major countries and the people's fears. Only by joining the world Zhejiang mansion can he be protected and be held in the palm of his hand by Tenryubito, becoming a puppet in their hands. Only when the sea is in chaos can they reflect the value of their world government. After the pirates entered the Great Route in pursuit of freedom, power, and wealth because of Tenryubito's beautiful propaganda, they found desperately. The Great Route is their cemetery, a place where they can only enter and cannot exit. The Great Channel is a magical sea area. The weather, direction, and ocean currents are in chaos, and it is almost impossible for ordinary people to confirm the location. Only the record pointer can indicate the direction. However, the recording pointer can only be going, and cannot go back. It is necessary to permanently record the pointer to advance and retreat. But not everyone gets a permanent record pointer. Close black lens bracket. Therefore, most pirates can only be trapped in the Great Route, or buried in the Great Route. Their existence seriously threatens the lives of ordinary people and requires the protection of the world government. In this way, Tenryubito initially lived in the lifeblood of the people of the world and gained privileges. And ordinary civilians, because of insufficient strength, can't leave the island where they are. Because the weather on the island is fixed, but leaving the island and arriving on the route, the climate is strange and changeable, and it is simply not something normal people can bear. So, want to trade, or exchange between countries. It can only be carried out by relying on the protection of the world Zhejiang Palace, and the lifeline will be pinched further. Therefore, Tenryubito successfully created the situation through this operation. Relying on the ravages of pirates, he gained supreme dominion. Also gained unimaginable privileges. Chapter 899. What conditions do you want? Then what do we do in the future? Continue to wander. Queen looked a little uneasy. That fellow Shajar Ching will never let us go. Will there still be a place for us in this sea in the future? Now we can only survive for the first time. The sea already has no place for us. Yan Calamity said with a dejected expression. I don't want to admit it, but that's where we are right now. Queen heard the words and sighed. He also began to feel that it was not a wise decision to provoke Shajar Ching in the first place. If they hadn't provoked Shajar Ching, how could they be so embarrassed? Find an island to settle down first. We need a place to stand now. Yan Zonjan's expression returned to calm, and he told something that seemed to have nothing to do with him. Jack and Queen have no opinion. Shajar Ching is here. Lord President, welcome back. A group of people from the Summer Chamber of Commerce stood on the battleship across the entire sea, welcoming Shajar Ching and their return. Their president is now One Piece, King of Pirates. And as his subordinates, they can also say that they are subordinates of One Piece, King of Pirates from now on. Status has been significantly improved. Mr. President, you are so amazing, we really admire you. Master President, what's the next move? Do you want to dominate the ocean? Yeah, If we need to dominate the ocean, we're ready. When everyone heard this, they all seemed quite excited. Okay, calm down first. Let's think about how to deal with the follow-up of this naval battle. We can't all nest on Sky Island. Shajirching squeezed his hands, signaling them not to be so anxious. To dominate the ocean, we have already done it. Next, let's develop peacefully and steadily for a while. After I have finished negotiating with the world government, let's talk about other things. There is no need to act in such a hurry, it will cause problems. Shajirching was always so calm, and everyone smiled and nodded. Anyway, believe this man. It's been like this from before to now. Nothing has changed. Back at Sky Island, Shajirching made post-war deployments and began to repair 9 Snake Island. It was during this time that the people from the world government came. Hey, I didn't expect that a person of your level would take the initiative to come. My summer chamber of commerce is really flourishing. Seeing the burly old man standing at the head of the negotiation, Shajirching couldn't help being a little surprised. This old man, just standing there, exudes a chilling breath. Just like Whitebeard. And his name is Kong. Martial Marine. This kind of lineup is really uncomfortable. No way, who would negotiate with someone of your level? If the old man doesn't move, I'm afraid he won't be able to hold the scene, and he will be eaten by you. Kong put his hands on his chest and said calmly. Then please, but I don't seem to be so vicious. Shajirching shrugged and said innocently. Hearing this, Sengoku behind Kong couldn't help but look a little unsightly. If he could, he really wanted to beat Shajirching violently. If he didn't pretend for a day, he would die. It is worthy of being the first force. This technological force is really thoughtful and advanced. It is indeed not wrong to lose to you. On the way, Kong carefully looked at the facilities of the Summer Chamber of Commerce, and couldn't help but praise. It's over the top, it's just to better serve our users. Otherwise, we will be eliminated by other chambers of commerce, and our competition pressure is also great. We are not like your marine, with a big family and a big business, don't worry about closing down. Shajirching said with a look that he was also very difficult. Sengoku and others heard the words, they all had the expression of, I believe you are a ghost. As everyone knows, Shajirching's mouth is a deceiving ghost. Sky Island. After the two sides were seated, Shajirching's expression suddenly became serious. Then, let's discuss the follow-up matters. Shajirching looked at Kong, no more jokes and jokes. Tell me, what conditions do you have? How do you want to negotiate? Shajirching tapped the table with her fingers and asked expectantly. What conditions do you have? Tell me, how can you not spread the matter of the final land? But it was Akainu who spoke up. Looking at the seats, he turned out to be the main force in this negotiation. What conditions do I have? Are you sure that I will drive it out, and you can afford it? Shajirching laughed immediately after hearing the words, and the smile was extremely provocative. Not angry, but it's the truth. If you don't say it, how do you know we can't be satisfied? We're here to negotiate, so don't use so much nonsense and state your terms. Akainu hates Shajirching's old-fashioned fritters, and his face is also very ugly. I don't know, how valuable do you think that secret is? This is enough to sway the entire sea. It doesn't bleed a little bit. I'm afraid you won't be able to satisfy me. Shajirching's body Vivi leaned forward, smiling like a vampire. Come on, make it clear, what do you want to promise us to keep it a secret? Kong said in a sonorous voice that he was very displeased with Shajirching's deliberately ostentatious behavior. Hee, my conditions are very simple. The world government will be removed, that's all. As soon as Shajirching said this, Sengoku and the others suddenly stood up, their eyes extremely sharp. Why, can't you agree to this condition? Look, you don't even have the courage to talk about the next thing. I think it shouldn't be too much to exchange the secret of the final land for this condition. Seeing this, Sha Zhiqing frowned and said contemptuously. Don't go too far. Do you think we might agree to this condition? Akainu's face was as black as ink. Disband the world government. What a joke, without the world government, what a fucking marine. Although he hated the world government, he also knew that if there was no world government, their marine would be finished. I only have this one condition. If I can't agree, then forget it, there is nothing to continue. Seeing this, Sha Zhiqing glanced at Kong, Sengoku and the others, with an attitude that I don't care. Akainu's breath became hoarse. The whole person is like a volcano about to erupt, the depressing atmosphere makes the scalp numb. Chapter 900. What on earth do you want? Is there really no other way? Hearing this, Sha Zhiqing glanced at Akainu somewhat unexpectedly. According to his previous temper, after hearing this, he should have beaten the table long ago. As expected of a person who has become a marshal, his attitude is different. Sha Zhiqing sincerely praised. HMPH, didn't you already know this? Akainu's face is not very good looking. Yeah, that's probably because I'm too forgetful. Sha Zhiqing couldn't deny it after hearing this, and then said, so, what's your consideration? Agree to my terms or refuse? This question is quite critical. Jeans, Akainu and the others fell into silence at the same time. Think slowly, I can afford to wait. After saying that, he closed his eyes and rested. Giggle. Hearing his words, there was a sound of clenching fists and clucking. Thinking about it, they have already greeted Sha Zhiqing countless times in their hearts. Time, half an hour passed in a blink of an eye. How is it, everyone, how are you thinking? Should I give up, or choose to agree to my conditions? Sha Zhiqing said with a scorching look on her face, and the look in her eyes made her scalp tingle. Akainu and the others were silent. It is impossible to agree to this condition. Seeing this, Sha Zhiqing said again, after all, why are you so persistent? If you want me to say, after your world's official government experienced the defeat of that war, it no longer has any prestige. Instead of keeping it, it's better to just disband it. It wasn't Marine who I asked you to disband. With Marine in hand, you are still the giants in this sea. We can still develop harmoniously between us. Let's think about it again, let's go. Kong got up and was about to leave. Akainu didn't hesitate at all, his face darkened. Only Sengoku couldn't help sighing, as if he had seen the fate of the future Marine. I forgot to tell you, you have to think about it quickly. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that the secret of the final land will not be distributed within these few days. You should also know that I have a lot of eyes in this summer chamber of commerce. If I don't keep it secret, it can spread to the whole sea in an instant. Threat, this is definitely a threat. Listen to his words, including Kong. Even Sengoku's face turned black. Sha Zhiqing, don't be too outrageous, otherwise, you will easily lead to disaster. He looked at Sha Zhiqing and said solemnly. Sha Zhiqing responded indifferently. Then it depends on your sincerity, my conditions have come out, and then it's up to you how to deal with it. There was nothing wrong with those words, but in Sengoku's ears, it was unusually harsh. Of course, they also know that this is Sha Zhiqing giving them an ultimatum. 2 days. The number left them a little breathless. In 2 days, it is too difficult to make a decision on whether or not to lift the world's official government. In the 800 years since the establishment of the world government, how has it ever been threatened like this again? There are too many interests involved here, and even 2 months, it may not be possible to draw any conclusions. What conclusions can be drawn in 2 days? What's more, if the world government is dissolved, wouldn't they all lose their faces? Then they have no prestige in the future. However, they believed that Sha Zhiqing would be happy to help them. When they thought of Sha Zhiqing's methods, they couldn't help but shudder. This is a lunatic who can do anything. Really let him spread the secrets of the final land, and the world's official government will definitely be finished. Instead of being passive, be proactive. Although taking the initiative to end is not good at all, but at least the initiative is in his own hands, and his reputation is better. Kong and his party just left. After they leave, does this push them too hard? What if there is an extreme situation? Anna appeared and asked worriedly. After all, the opponent is the official government of the world, and it cannot be viewed with equanimity. Don't worry, there's no problem. Shajirqing took her hand and comforted Isho. What about the world's official government? It is also composed of various forces. The previous practices also apply to them. These words, Shajirqing said quite confidently. Then it's up to you. When Anna saw this, she didn't plan to continue to control it. Anyway, Shajirqing will definitely solve these things. As long as he brings it up, it will definitely be resolved. 2 days later, Gorosei, 5 elders suddenly got in touch with Shajirqing. Shajirqing, what are you thinking, and what are you planning to do? If you want us to dissolve the world's main government, wouldn't the Red Earth continent become yours? In this case, you can still break the blockade according to the method of the final land. Aren't you playing us like monkeys? Gorosei, 5 elders, voice was full of anger. Well, don't be so angry, I never said such a thing, don't talk nonsense. Shajirqing was quite calm, and continued, my idea is actually quite simple, that is, the official government of your world will step down. This sea is jointly managed by our Summer Chamber of Commerce, the Revolutionary Army, and Marine. The secret of the sea is jointly kept by the 3 of us to check and balance the world. In this way, isn't it a very wonderful thing to turn an enemy into a friend and the world is at peace? Our Summer Chamber of Commerce is about the economy, the Marine is about the military, and the Revolutionary Army is about the culture. The final politics is co-chaired by our 3 parties plus the red-haired Shanks, and we all stand peacefully on the same position. Shajirqing shared her thoughts to the Gorosei, 5 elders. After hearing his words, the Gorosei, 5 elders fell silent. After a long time, the Gorosei, 5 elders said, are you sure what you said is true? There are no other thoughts in it. Shajirqing replied without hesitation, of course. If I have any other conspiracy, with your ingenuity, it is impossible not to see it, so, is it a deal? The Gorosei, 5 elders are silent again. After a long time, the voice came, then what are you going to do with Tenryubito? How do you deal with them? If they hadn't been set up properly, they might not have spread the secrets of the sea. At that time, your idea may not be realized, but there will be big trouble. There's nothing wrong with Gorosei, 5 elders, after all, the truth about the sea itself was planned by Tenryubito. Chapter 901 Challenge Hawkeye. It's up to you on this matter. No matter how powerful Tenryubito is, there aren't many smart people anymore. And you who are at the top of all Tenryubito have the right to absolutely sanction them. Anyway, the world government must be disbanded. As for the rest, you can do whatever you want. On the Red Earth continent, we can no longer have any unilateral power. This is my bottom line. Hearing this, Gorosei, 5 elders said, then make a joint statement, and in 5 days, we will meet Mariajoy. After he finished speaking, he hung up the phone. Obviously, they have made a decision. I didn't expect them to actually agree, it's unbelievable. Anna was beside Shajirqing. Watching this scene, she couldn't help but say in shock. In the face of absolute strength, even a behemoth like the world government can only surrender. This is the confidence of absolute strength. Besides, no one has ever said that the world government will be the master of the world. Isn't it? Hearing Shajirqing's Hoki's words, Anna's beautiful eyes could not help but give birth to a lot of intoxication. This man, always so Hoki, can do what he says. Come on, spread the news, a new era is here. Shajirqing commanded outside the house. I heard a soft reply from outside the house, and then it became quiet again. 1 day later. The world events discussed by the world government and the Summer Chamber of Commerce have been rapidly spread around the world through major newspapers. My God, it's not true. How can such a thing be possible? Hey, the world government has surrendered. This world is too magical. Why do I feel a little bit of doomsday? The people on the sea were once again shocked by this sudden heavy news. As expected of Sha Zhiqing, this kind of thing can actually be done. What did he master? Even the world government bowed his head. What else is there that he can't do? This era is completely overshadowed by him. It's terrifying, it's really breathless. After completing this thing, he can already be called a god. From now on, no one can challenge his status. Whitebeard here. It's cool, your kid is making waves again. Whitebeard laughed heartily, gulping down his drink, looking quite happy. Jia haha, I didn't expect this old man's wish to be born, but you were the first to realize it. Very good, as expected of your boy. Golden Lion couldn't help but be amazed. It's a fluke, it's better for Dad and Senior Golden Lion to help, otherwise, I don't have the confidence. Sha Zhiqing said quite modestly. From now on, an unprecedented era has come, it's really a little anticipation. Marco sighed, his face full of longing. Redhead Shanks is here. You really did it, Sha Zhiqing. Holding the newspaper in his hand, the red-haired Shanks was full of sighs. Since then, a new era has come, and everyone's identities have changed. He is the only one who maintains the balance. Do you understand me, this guy? He is reluctant to let the redhead be the manager, so it is more appropriate to let him be the mediator. Revolutionary Army Headquarters, Baldic. Is there a meeting of order in the new era? It's really yours. Blood pupils. Dragon's eyes flashed brightly. Compared to Sha Zhiqing, his idea of overthrowing the world government is still inferior and not powerful enough. Therefore, he greatly admires Sha Zhiqing, who has contributed to the collapse of the world government at the click of a button. If possible, he would like to learn management skills from Sha Zhiqing. Other places. The new era is here, but I don't know if it's good or bad. The tyrants in the sea all thought like this in their hearts. All eyes could not help but look towards the meeting a few days later. And before this thing starts, there is one more thing that attracts everyone's attention. That is, Mahawk, the world's largest swordsman, was challenged. And this person, of course, is not an unknown person. It is Rorano Azoro, who belongs to the Summer Chamber of Commerce and is known as Kendo Shira. Moreover, Sha Zhiqing personally accompanied him to find Hawkeye Mahawk. This pomp is not something ordinary people can afford. Then, well-informed people on the sea began to analyze. It is said that Sha Zhiqing went there in person because when he recruited Rorano Azoro, he promised him that one day he would accompany him to challenge Mahawk, the world's largest swordsman. This analysis was then officially recognized by the Summer Chamber of Commerce, and the progress has aroused huge recognition in the world. He is a man who earnestly fulfills his promise. As expected of Sha Zhiqing, with his current status, even if he does not accompany him, it is normal. It's good, I really envy Rorano Azoro. Many people envied Zoro directly. It must be a blessing to meet a good boss like Sha Zhiqing. Great Route. Kregana Island, ruins of the Kingdom of Siskir. It's really a classic Ghost Roll-style Western Papal-style building, it really matches the style of Hawkeye. Sha Zhiqing and Zoro arrived here by boat. As soon as they landed on the island, the two were surrounded by a group of baboons carrying the same eagle-eyed sword. The breath on their bodies is not weak, condensed and fierce. Moreover, there are already many ready to attack, and the big swords in their hands have begun to shine. Era, is this the way of the world's greatest swordsman? It's scary enough. Sha Zhiqing looked at these baboons and raised his hands in surrender. If you don't want to die, just get out of here. Zoro obviously did not have such leisure, and a dark ghost appeared from his body, infinitely terrifying, and a terrifying oppression came. Behind him, a three-headed and six-armed Shira-like phantom appeared, extremely terrifying. Woo! Woo woo! These baboons suddenly froze one by one, and their eyes were full of horror. The tail drooped down immediately, and kept going backwards to make way. What's more, he slumped directly on the ground, shivering. Go, President! Zoro dissipated his ghosts and walked towards the castle. Shajirching followed behind him, looking at the scenery, but didn't pay attention to those baboons. Are you coming? In the castle, Hawkeye Mahawk put down his wine glass and looked out the window. Zoro's powerful ghost, he naturally couldn't sense it. He held the black knife knight and walked out. Chapter 902 Still Lose. Finally meet, Hawkeye Mahawk. Hawkeye had just reached the gate, and Zoro had just arrived, with a beast-like expression on his face, and he drew his knife out. Roronoa Zoro is indeed a strong challenger. Let's start. One of the 12 greatest swordsmanships, a tangled blade with heavy flowers, a black knife knight. Hawkeye Mahawk reported the name of his sword. One of the 20 workers of the Big Quick Knife, Shouting Sioux Flower character, and Daoyi character. One of the 20 workers of the Big Quick Knife, Shouting Yan Flower character, 3 generations of ghosts. One of the 50 good and quick knives, a small T-shaped knife with random knives, Go Snow. Zoro also quickly reported the names of his 3 swords. I'm up. The moment the words fell, he rushed towards Hawkeye. Bang! The sound of the terrifying explosion caused by the collision of the two shook the surrounding air, and sparks flew everywhere. Boom! Zoro's sword continued to collide with Hawkeye, producing terrifying fluctuations. The two fought back and forth, armament Hawkeye's breath and sword aura mixed with infinite terror. The surrounding land was shattered by the battle between the two. Buildings collapsed and flying stones pierced through the air. 3 swords, extreme, tiger hunt. 3 swords flow 1080 troubled phoenix. 3 swords flow 2 gang force slash. Zoro kept making moves, but they were easily blocked by the eagle-eyed Mahawk. Judging from his calm look, it seemed that Zoro's ultimate move had no effect on him. The powerful slash has reached a very high level. 90% of the swordsmen in this sea are no longer as good as you. Hawk-eyed Mahawk said solemnly, obviously, taking Zoro's 3 moves in a row is not so pleasant. But if you want to successfully challenge me, you're still a little too close. Roronoa Zoro, do your best. This kind of tentative attack doesn't work for me. As he said that, he shook his hand and shot out a dark purple sword wave, which made Zoro hurriedly break it with a move of Cow Ghost Brave Claw. The scattered sword energy destroyed several surrounding castles and spread to a range of several kilometers. That's what you want. Facing the eagle-eyed Mahawk who was approaching, Zoro once again played a 1080 wind of trouble, forcing back the eagle-eyed. The breath on his body suddenly condensed. Eagle-eyed Mahawk obviously also noticed this, and his aura suddenly became much more condensed. The duel of swordsmen is likely to be decided in an instant. Therefore, even as a top swordsman, he cannot underestimate Zoro. After all, Zoro has the power to traumatize him. 3 swords profound truth 3000 worlds. The moment the words fell, Zoro seemed to have turned into a beast, swiftly turned into a shadow and passed by Hawkeye. PFF'd. As soon as he saw Zoro's chest, a long hole suddenly appeared, and blood splattered. Zoro also fell to his knees, gasping for breath. Bah! At this moment, blood spurted out of Hawkeye's shoulder. What a powerful blow. It's been a long time since no one has been able to do that. Hawkeye turned around, and there was a warm expression in his expression, and he became serious. That's the best. At this time, Zoro stood up again and turned around, his breath more condensed and suffocating. He could only hear the rhythm in his mouth, like chanting scriptures, calm and powerful. 9 mountains and 8 seas are one world, and 1,000 worlds are a small world. This world is multiplied by 3, and there is no one who does not continue. The profound meaning of the 3 swords. He suddenly rushed towards the eagle eye. His eyes were as terrifying as a falcon, one big. 3,000. Great thousand worlds. Ohm. In the face of this blow, Hawkeye's eyes suddenly froze, and he felt threatened. He exuded black energy, and Heidaoyi also filled with a huge sharpness, which stirred the space and fell heavily. Before the confrontation, the earth is already broken. Boom. As soon as the two collided, it was like a mushroom egg exploded. The terrifying power directly shattered everything around them. The violent air waves, unscrupulously vented, turned into a terrifying gust of wind, ravaging the surroundings. Then PFF'd. Once again, the two passed by, and there was a loud tearing sound. Then, the site of Hawkeye's chest suddenly exploded. Blood splashed around in the air, and he couldn't help but snorted and stepped back. And Zoro, after Hawkeye backed away, blood suddenly flew in front of his chest, and then he fell to his knees and coughed up a large mouthful of blood. I lost. He said this with a hint of disappointment in his tone. Keep trying to hone yourself, Roronoa Zoro, one failure doesn't mean anything. Before that, I will be on the first throne, waiting for your arrival. Hawkeye Mihawk withdrew his knife and spoke his words of admonition. Of course, wait for me, in a few years, I will definitely be able to stand in your current position and become the #1 swordsman. From now on, I won't lose again. Zoro stood up with support, and then opened his arms to Hawkeye. Seeing Hawkeye was a little puzzled, he grinned. Isho, the scar on the back is a shame for the swordsman. Hearing his words, Hawk-eyed Mihawk's pupils moved vivi. Then, with a funny expression on his face, he said, very good. While speaking, he pulled out his long knife and swung it down. Blood splattered from Zoro's chest again, and then he collapsed completely. This battle is over. Alas, tragic. At the moment of the end, Shajirching appeared in front of Zoro, and the immortal palm technique unfolded to restore him. Thanks a lot, President. Zoro suddenly struggled to open his eyes, thanking him. Shajirching said helplessly, if you didn't work so hard, I wouldn't be like this. In this regard, Zoro is just Isho, the dream is in sight, how can it stop? Of course you have to do your best. 5 minutes later. Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll go, goodbye, Mihawk. Shajirching waved his hand and left with Zoro, who was already able to move. As soon as he appeared in the sea, he was targeted by the flashlights and recording phone bugs of the group of reporters. They were stopped by the group of baboons and did not dare to go ashore. Seeing that Shajirching came out, he was naturally excited. It's all right, if there is nothing else, let's go. Don't interfere with me going home. Otherwise, if I force me to buy the industry behind you and fire you, some of you will cry. Shajirching waved his hand, signaling the reporters to stop. Chapter 903 World Federation Conference. Naturally, these people did not dare to be presumptuous in front of Shajirching, so they obediently retreated after hearing the words. Just kidding, isn't the current Supreme Oceania this one? Black and white, he is the biggest. No matter whether it is soft or hard, he is the most powerful existence, and no one dares to provoke him. The next day, news of Zoro's failure to challenge the Hawkeye Mihawk spread across the sea. Of course, this news did not surprise the public. After all, Zoro's opponent is also the world's greatest swordsman. If you lose like this, it will be too shameless. Time, just like this, came to the day when the World Congress was held. Marine and World Government. Summer Chamber of Commerce Alliance. The Red Hair Pirates. Revolutionary Army. 6 parties gather in Mariajoy to discuss the new world order. And soon, after, friendly negotiation and harmonious negotiation, a new situation in the world was reached. A World Alliance, composed of 6 parties, was established to jointly judge affairs around the world. At the same time, the privileges of Tenryubido will be cancelled, and Tenryubido will be assessed and screened, and the incompetent will be distributed to an island together for life. Those who are capable, enter the alliance to deal with affairs, and shine. This decision has been strongly recognized by the entire sea people. They really suffered from Tenryubito's devastation for a long time. Really dream that someone can help them and defeat Tenryubito. But obviously, not everyone can do this. But now, Shajirching has done it. I know that in the entire sea, only Shajirching has this ability. Ha ha ha, I will never be bullied by Tenryubito again. The feeling of freedom is so comfortable. The people were all very happy, and sincerely thanked Shajirching from the bottom of their hearts. Damn Shajirching, we are not finished with you. But obviously, since there are people with vested interests cheering, naturally there are also the Tenryubito dignitaries whose interests are being harmed and their teeth are itching with hatred. You wait for me, and one day, I'll let you know how stupid your idea is today. Shajirching, dare to offend the descendants of our gods, you are doomed. We will definitely step on you and make you unable to stand up forever. Those Tenryubito, whose rights were also reserved, gathered to conspire. But they did not plot this with the Gorosei, 5 elders. Because in their opinion, the Gorosei 5 elders who compromised with the pirates are already a disgrace to their Tenryubito, and they are not worthy to plan these things with them. But they obviously don't understand that without the support of the Gorosei, 5 elders, there is no way they could have played Summer Lord. In front of Shajirching, they are too weak. They were all arrested just 2 hours after they were conspiring to do this. Neither Gorosei, 5 elders can stop it. Then, they were publicly executed, and Shajirching asked the people of the world for their opinions, whether to imprison these people or kill them. And when they heard that these Tenryubito actually wanted to subvert their beautiful and free life, how could the people be happy? One by one, they were angry, with awe-inspiring murderous intent, and strongly demanded that these people be executed. Whether old or new hatred, or whether Tenryubito angered their interests. In short, now Shajirching gave them a knife that could be placed on the head of a powerful person like Tenryubito. The hostility they once concealed will naturally erupt in a concentrated manner. Finally, under the fury of the populace, in the midst of a very ill-fated negotiation by the Gorosei 5 elders, half of the lesser cases can be released, but they must be found guilty. The plot is heavier, the initiator of this matter must give him and the whole world a satisfactory explanation. In the end, a total of 16 initiators were convicted of more than a dozen major crimes such as disrupting world peace, crime of endangering public security, and crime of destroying world order, divided by stabbing. This incident instantly made those high-level officials in the world government who were still planning to clamor suddenly lose the slightest idea. All at once honest, they can understand that they were able to show off their might at the beginning, and they depended on the support of the world government. But now, the world government is silent, they have no support at all, how can they fight against the Summer Chamber of Commerce Alliance? Confrontation is only a dead end. In this regard, the Summer Chamber of Commerce has determined the absolute right to speak to this sea. It's crazy enough, what else is there that you dare not do? Looking at the high-spirited Shajirching, Kuzan couldn't help shaking his head helplessly. He seemed to have seen something in the future. In the end, someone else took over the dominant position. Sengoku also looked at Shajirching and couldn't help sighing. This year is Sea Circle Calendar 1522. Today is the last day of the year. On the Red Earth continent, other people finally appeared in the Holy Land Mariajoy, together with Marine, the world government to manage the world. The first World Alliance Council meeting was held like this. Various future management plans and the division of various interests have been discussed, and strict discussions are required. Among them, the most meaningful piece of content is that the world government will merge with Marine and call it New Marine. Others, such as technology sharing, information sharing, personnel sharing, etc., also affect the lifeblood of everyone present. Economic, military and political exchanges and cooperation have been achieved. In the end, they established a new world order that did away with vulgarities such as heavenly gold and opened the membership qualifications, the world-friendly cooperation. But on the question of whether to eliminate the pirate profession, the 6 parties present tacitly chose not to mention it. Because they need things like pirates to exist to determine their value. And through the rules of the weak and the strong, to promote the continuous development of the world, the survival of the fittest. Immediately after the First World Alliance Council meeting, the First World Alliance meeting was also held. 852 kings from all over the world, under the escort of the 6 forces, came to Mariajoy. Under the auspices of Sha Jurching, Gorosei 5 elders, various proposals were launched on various matters such as economy, politics, military affairs, culture, etc. During the meeting, many proposals that were once impossible were proposed and passed. For example, the cancellation of the Tenryubito Special Service was approved by nearly 80% of the kings present. And in this meeting, another very important thing was passed. That is Fishman Island, which has officially joined the World Alliance, and the proposal to cancel the suppression of alien races has also been approved. From then on, various other races that are different from humans can no longer worry about becoming slaves of others, and they can appear in the world safely. Chapter 904 The Growth of Summer Sakura. Although this process is still a bit long, Neptune believes that with the support of Sha Jurching, he can see that day come. This meeting lasted for 10 days. They discussed various matters in the entire sea and reconciled various contradictions. A new order is established. However, after this meeting, there are still many kings puzzled. Why not curb the pirate industry? The existence of this profession is the cancer of the world, why not get rid of it? However, no one dared to ask this question. Even if Sha Jurching seemed so kind and amiable, so easy to talk to. But since this question has not been raised by everyone, and it seems that it is taboo, then no one will talk about it. Time has passed so slowly for 10 years. During these years, basically nothing major happened. Except for the remnants of the beast pirates who attacked the Summer Chamber of Commerce and were all arrested and executed. Only Straw Hat Luffy led his partners to Laugh Tale, becoming the 3rd pirate group to arrive there after the Summer Chamber of Commerce. However, not long after arriving at Laugh Tale, the Straw Hat Pirates disbanded just like the Roger Pirates back then. As for the secret at the end of the world, none of them mentioned it. Luffy is back in Windmill Village. Kira is back in East Blue. Sanji's inherited the restaurant on the sea. Karina settles in the New World. Brooke has once again become a world-renowned musician and sings with great concentration. Frankie returned to the capital of Seven Waters, became the head of the Carrera Company together with Iceberg, and concentrated on shipbuilding. Usopp also returned to his hometown and married his childhood sweetheart Kaya. Jinbei returned to Fishman Island and became the patron saint there. As if they had never been to Laugh Tale, the world never had much of an impression of them. Of One Piece, King of Pirates still hangs on Sha Jurching's head. They, like a small wave, have never made a wave. See Circle Calendar 1532, March. These Tenryubitos really don't have a long memory at all. After being taught so many times, they still don't change their minds, and they dare to rebel. It seems that it is necessary to give them a little color. If we don't beat them down, do they really think we can't help them? Next to the newly built 9 Snake Island port, there is a girl who looks like Anna and is 2.2 meters tall, wearing a red battlesuit and holding a war gun, with a look of indignity. Judging by her age, she was definitely no more than 15 years old. Miss, are you planning to lead your troops to the sea again? The last time you were discovered by the president, you were locked up for half a month. Beside the girl, a handsome young man of about 27 or so said helplessly, "Don't go out to sea. If something goes wrong with you, we can't afford it." Hearing this, the girl in red immediately snorted, I just want to go to sea. I have been able to defeat the SSG robot now, and this strength is enough to deal with most dangers. Besides, I didn't go alone. The troops I chose were all good players. I don't think there is any problem. Miss Sakura, that's Tenryubito after all. Their heritage should not be underestimated. Even if they were expelled, they should not be taken lightly. And you, the body of 10,000 gold, how could you take such a risk? If you are hurt, let alone the president who devoured us alive, we will feel guilty ourselves. The young man still wanted to persuade the girl to be presumptuous. Being able to be on Nine Snake Island, and still this kind of treatment, a girl who looks like Anna and has the word, Sakura, in her name. There is only the eldest princess of the Summer Chamber of Commerce, the Shajariing, who is the heart of the entire Summer Chamber of Commerce Alliance. Oh, Big Brother Momolo, don't read this, I'm off, wait for my good news. Shajariing didn't want to eat this set. After making a face, she took her chosen team, set foot on the ship, and left the port directly. Mamoruo, the handsome young man, sighed helplessly when he saw this, and then stepped on the ship and followed. Shajariing must not go wrong. This is a scratch that can affect the turmoil in the world. It is Whitebeard, Golden Lion, Shajarching's palm baby. It is not an exaggeration to call it a princess. A few months ago, she suddenly disappeared at the Summer Chamber of Commerce headquarters, and the whole world went into the search. You can imagine her importance. Now, she has to personally go out to fight the rebellion. How can it be reassuring? In case of injury, the ghost knows what will happen. The president is really big-hearted, and he really asked Miss Sakura to do such a thing. Mamoru made a small rant, and then plunged into the state. Sky Island. Is it too early for Sakura to do this kind of thing now? In front of a certain window, Anna leaned on Shajarching's shoulder and asked worriedly. In the past 10 years, their faces have hardly changed. Hey, when the child is old, he has to go out to see the wind and rain. Besides, Xiao Sakura is amazing now, she can even defeat the SSG robot. This is the result of her half playing and half learning. Summer, if Sha Chen has her talent, then I'll wake up with a smile. Seeing Anna still worried, Shajarching hugged her with a smile and said, don't worry, isn't there Mamoruo to protect her? Xiao Ying's current strength is enough for her to break into the world. Wouldn't it be good for her to go out and see the world and have some experience? The same is true for Sha Chen in the summer in the future. Otherwise, I don't trust them with such a big industry. The people, methods, and conspiracies in this world must be seen by those who should know. After all, we can't shelter them for a lifetime. Listening to Shajarching's words, Anna nodded. Bargello Island. Willis, wait for you to bring 5 people to investigate and deliver the news in real time. Lot, you bring 30 people and enter the island with me to suppress the rebellion. Kara, take the rest of you and guard the port to prevent them from escaping, and cut off any troops they might come to help. This time, we're going to completely wipe out their hopes, understand? Don't look at Shajariing's arrogant young lady in front of Mamoru. As soon as you arrive at the rebellion, when you deploy the plan, you really have the feeling of seeing Shajarching. Decisive, sharp, and extremely dignified. Understood. Everyone responded, Shajariing nodded, and then her eyes suddenly became sharp. Let's go. On the island. What, Miss Summer Chamber of Commerce is here. When the rebel leader on the island heard the news, he was first taken aback, then ecstatic. Chapter 905 New Era. Very well, I was worried that I didn't have any bargaining chips, but I didn't expect her to come to the door. Since her second-generation ancestor is going to die, then I will fulfill her. Brothers, kill and capture Shajariing alive. The leader of this rebellion, named Saint Guard Muse, roared furiously. Immediately, it aroused strong cheers from the others. The little girls will be handed over to you, pirates. I heard that she is a little beauty, you can enjoy it later. Saint Guard Muse said to a group of people who exuded a powerful atmosphere. They are the main force of the rebellion, a group of outlaws with a bounty of over 100 million. Leave it to us, Gia Gia Gia. The headed man smiled with yellow teeth, his expression extremely wretched. But, boom. When they thought that Shajariang was just a piece of shit and needed someone to protect her. After they were able to capture her quickly and fight against Shajariang, they realized that they were wrong. So wrong. Summer Sakura is a straw bag. Seeing Shajariang who killed a 300 million bounty pirate with one blow, they couldn't help but gulped. Ha ha ha, do you think that Shajariang-sama is a princess without the power of a chicken? It makes me laugh out loud. Where did you get this kind of news? Our Lord Shajariang, but the most talented existence in the Summer Chamber of Commerce, the first person of the same generation. When Shajariang's companions saw this scene, they couldn't help laughing loudly. Kill. Shajariang didn't intend to talk nonsense. Her face was full of frost, and the going gun in her hand was like a death announcement. If she was targeted, she would definitely die. How could this be? No, it's not true. Seeing that the pirate troop, who had high hopes for him, was killed by Shajariang alone and fled, Saint Guard Muse was directly paralyzed. He couldn't believe it was true. In order to plan the rebellion, he did not know how much effort he had spent. But now, is it so fragile? This is the Summer Chamber of Commerce. The eldest princess is a bit too strong. Seeing Shajariang, who was running through the crowd like a Valkyrie, rushing back and forth, the rebel army was a little less confident. What's there to be afraid of? We have thousands of troops, and they are only a few. Encircle them, don't forget, we still have backup. In the face of absolute force, what to fear? Think about it, if we can capture her, don't we have any bargaining chips to negotiate with Shajariang? This is the best chip ever given to us. A person who seemed to be at the level of a captain, but shouted with excitement and murderous intent on his face, and completely regarded Shajariang as his prey. In his eyes, Shajariang was just a target and a hostage sent to the door. Yes, her strength is indeed good, but, after all, she is a human being, and it is impossible for her to be exhausted. And what they lacked the most was people, and using the sea of tactics could kill her. Follow me. Kill, success or failure is here. After he finished speaking, he rushed towards Shajariang. Hearing what he said just now, everyone felt reasonable. Rush. They screamed and rushed towards Shajariang. Crowd tactics. Bring me down. HMPH, you're really short-sighted, and you're worthy of your wine bags and rice bags. But facing the crowd who rushed over to surround him, Shajariang couldn't help but laugh disdainfully. Arrogant. Stop being arrogant. A group of people were naturally enraged by the tone of Shajariang's words, and they all spoke up. The attack on the hand is also more severe. They must let Shajariang know how outrageous they are wrong. How her arrogance made her suffer. Humph. Shajariang snorted coldly when she heard the words. Then, she saw her phoenix eyes staring, and an extremely fierce momentum swept the entire island. How possible, Conqueror? You have a Conqueror haki with the qualifications of a king. The captain looked at the people around him who were constantly falling down. His face was instantly pale, and the cold sweat continued. Shajariang has Conqueror haki, which she did not expect at all. There are thousands of people at the scene, and suddenly only a dozen people are left standing, which is terrifying. Why can't I have it? My father is the strongest man in the world. Isn't it normal for me to own a conqueror? Shajariang looked indifferent, then looked at Saint Guard Muse, and said, surrender, you only have to admit defeat today. If you're going to wait for reinforcements, then I think you can forget about it. It's impossible for reinforcements to come. They should have been solved by the people I stayed at the port by now. Just as Shajariang said these words, the phone bug on Saint Guard Muse rang. There was screaming over there, and there were beggings of, we lost, and, don't kill me. Saint Guard Muse slumped to the ground in an instant. Face ashen. The negotiated reinforcements did not come, and the battle on the island was still one-sided. Really, there may be no victory at all. He began to regret the rebellion. Knowing that he and others are so fragile, he would never dare. But there is no regret medicine in the world. In the end, the principal offender, Saint Guard Muse, and other high-ranking rebels were arrested and escorted back to the Summer Chamber of Commerce for trial. Is this the legendary high-quality genetic inheritance? It's really terrifying. To have Conqueror Haki, she deserves to be Miss Sakura Shah. On the way back, Mamoru couldn't help but sighed with emotion. He was supposed to be the guard, but he watched the whole play. Because he really doesn't need his shot. Shajureing achieved this kind of record on her first trip to sea, and she was naturally greeted by Shajurching in person, which also shocked the world. As expected of my genius Sakura, she did such a beautiful job. Shajurching praised happily, Shajureing arrogantly grinned, and said, "Of course, I am Daddy's good baby. If it doesn't work, it won't break Daddy's signboard." But she couldn't hide the smug look on her face. Okay, then there is such a thing, and it will be handed over to our Sakura. Summer, Shachan, you have to do your best, otherwise, you can't escape the clutches of your sister. Hearing this, Shachan and Shachan suddenly thought of some bad memories in the summer they saw, and their faces were instantly ugly. Then, they said in unison, "Yes, Daddy." "Okay, let's go, let's celebrate Sakura." Shajurching waved his hand, and the entire Summer Chamber of Commerce fell into joy in an instant. Everyone sang and danced, so happy. And the various forces on the sea have different reactions: surprise, joy, worry, panic, and so on. Who makes the Summer Chamber of Commerce so powerful and despairing? Another 10 years. Shajureing, who fought in all directions and became famous all over the world, took over half of the management rights of Shajurching from Shajurching. Summer, Shachan, took over the other half of the management. At this point, the era of hegemony of the Summer Chamber of Commerce led by Shajurching came to an end. A new chapter is about to begin. Chapter 906. Some people are always dishonest. See Circle Calendar 1535. Today's C is an era when the Summer Chamber of Commerce Alliance, the Red Hair Pirates, the Revolutionary Army, Marine and other forces balance each other. The first half of the Great Route, an island. Luffy, would you like to explore the moon above the blue sea with me? We can't do One Piece, King of Pirates on Blue Sea. We can still do One Piece, King of Pirates on Blue Sea. Listen to Brother Shajurching, that is a place that is not inferior to the Great Route. Ace raised his wine and clinked glasses with Luffy on the opposite side, and said with excitement on his face. "Oh, of course, the adventure never stops." Hearing Ace's words, a bright light suddenly appeared in Luffy's eyes. "Ha ha ha, then gather your mates, Luffy, and let's start a new journey." Luffy's reaction was what Ace expected. As long as there is an adventure, his younger brother will definitely not refuse. It's just a pity that the second brother Sabo is troubled by things and can't go together. Otherwise, it would be great for the three brothers to go on an adventure together. Santa Hila Island. This is a large island located in the first half of the Great Route, very close to the Devil's Triangle. However, although it is close to the Devil's Triangle, the climate on this island is different from the Devil's Triangle. If the Devil's Triangle is dark and gloomy, then Santa Hila Island is a place bathed in sunlight. At this moment, in the courtyard of a room on this island, there is a man with triangular sunglasses and a big mechanical arm, who is lying on a chair basking in the sun. It's none other than the Money Marine Admiral, Black Arm Zephyr. "How is it, Mr. Zephyr? The answer that my president gave you is quite satisfactory. You shouldn't continue to toss this sea." A well-dressed man with an explosive head looked at Zephyr and said, "Well, I reluctantly accept this answer from your president. Don't worry, the old man will retire here. Unless it's special, you shouldn't see me in the sea." Vivi opened his eyes under Zephyr's sunglasses and said. When he remembered that 10 years ago, when Shajurching suddenly released him and prepared a place for him, he couldn't understand the situation. He didn't understand why until he went to sea. The world government has collapsed, and the world pattern has changed. And the initiative is still in the hands of Xia Zhiqing. However, in the face of Xia Zhiqing's wooing again, he still refused. Because he wanted to see if Xia Zhiqing's method of achieving peace in the sea was feasible. That is, to control half of the world through the economy, and leave the other half to other ways. And this review is 10 years. Needless to say, there are still problems. But there is no doubt that this is a very good and great plan, and the feasibility is very strong. And Xia Zhiqing really did it. He is indeed a hero, Xia Zhiqing. He is very satisfied with the current situation of the sea. Therefore, he has no idea of continuing to fight and kill. Right now, he just wants to spend his old age peacefully with a few of his students. As a prisoner, Valder's fate was not as free as Zephyr's. Chitong, you bastard, one day I will flee to you for revenge. A certain owner who experienced the theme of giant transformation said so. Then, he said to the tourists who came with a smile on his face, "Welcome to the new world of the Summer Chamber of Commerce Giant Experience theme. Really fragrant. New world. Humph, overthrow the Summer Chamber of Commerce, you too, I don't dare to join this plan." Crocodile, who was already small, was holding a cigar, looked at the two in front of him, and refused. He didn't want to kill himself yet. Even if he is daring, the Summer Chamber of Commerce is so terrifying that even the world government cannot compete. He is a little new world pirate, how can he fight? As for the two people in front of him, the one on the left was wearing a black protective suit, with wings behind him, a mask, and a long knife hanging from his waist. The man on the right is extremely tall, with long blonde hair, wearing a night chin guard on his mouth, and the end of the guard is connected to the pair of big horns. No one else. Left, blazing embers. Right, Drought Jack. Hey, coward. When Crocodile refused, Jack got up and left. There is always someone who is willing to fight against that fellow Xia Zhiqing. Crocodile, you should always cower in the corner like a mouse. Jack said contemptuously. Crocodile heard the blue veins on his forehead. However, considering the strength of the flames in front of him, he held back and did not attack. This kind of thing, let's wait until your boss Kaido wakes up. Maybe there is a chance. When Jin got up, Crocodile said. If the Summer Chamber of Commerce can really be overthrown, then as long as he can get a mouthful of soup, he can instantly expand several times. I'll think about it, Jin said in surprise. This Crocodile, a little too honest. Warm reminder, book friends who use Baidu and QQ browsers, pay attention. When reading books on this site, you must exit the free reading mode, otherwise the latest chapters will only be displayed in half. Exit the free reading mode to experience the ultimate reading pleasure. Chapter 907 Time to Go Home, Lost Ones. Great Route, some holiday island. By the way, Captain, do you really care about the remnants of the beast pirates? Let them continue to lurk in the sea. Speaking of which, they are still quite threatening. If one is not good, they can still cause us some harm. Enel squatted on a tree, looked at Xia Zhiqing who was lying on a chair under the tree, and asked. I heard that they have been in contact with Crocodile recently. Humph, this Crocodile is a little unreliable, always thinking about doing things. Xia Zhiqing said with a smile. According to our line of sight, the news is indeed like this. Do you want me to go and let him be honest? Enel's face is full of eagerness to try. He has not fought a decent battle for a long time, especially looking forward to the battle. Alright, just to warn the Crocodile guy. It's okay to plan, but if you want to be unfavorable to us, then I'm sorry. Especially with the danger of the 3 disasters. However, it is worthy of the 3 disasters. It is really difficult to arrest them all at once. Xia Zhiqing said with emotion, but Anna beside him couldn't help but complain. You can catch them one by one, but you have some kind of obsessive-compulsive disorder, and you want to catch them all at once. I said you were too. You are already old, and you are still as naughty as you were back then. Play them like monkeys, and be careful that they will bite you hard one day. Hearing what Anna said, Shajirching thought about it and thought it was the same, and then said, if that's the case, then I'll go there in person. Let me personally, please, these few, lost, wandering outside, their boss, but I miss them so much. Hey, since that's the case, it's really a wonderful, big reunion. Enel, who had something to do, looked particularly excited. Then, he turned into a thunderbolt and landed on a boat in the sea ahead, and murmured excitedly, Crocodile, welcome the coming of this god. Then, it went straight to the wind and waves. Shajirching also got up, said, I'm going to Anna, and then drove the Gundam, Susanoo, and galloped away. It can be said that he is the only person in the whole pirate world who dares to pull the wind like this. A branch of the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Of course, Shajirching wouldn't go directly to the sea to find the three disasters. That would be like looking for a needle in a haystack. Even if it was him, it would be difficult to find the three disasters. And this branch is a place that specializes in tracking the three disasters. Obtaining information from them and going after them will have too many clear goals. President, are you finally planning to attack the three disasters? When seeing Shajirching appear here, this zone-capable person named Lita has a feeling of being able to see the moon. Ha ha ha, I made you wait for a long time. However, how about that guy, is it still the same as before? The guy in Yayan's mouth is referring to Kaido of the Beasts. Hey, it's still like that, drinking and going crazy or insulting you, the president, all day long. However, it is worthy of being the strongest creature. It really won't die no matter what, its vitality is terrifyingly tenacious. Lita shrugged helplessly, and just finished speaking, the whole island suddenly trembled, and a domineering and arrogant momentum swept across, making it suffocating. It's Conqueror Haki. It's so energetic. Shajirching Isho. Then, as soon as the pupil moved, a majestic coercion also vented out, and it collided with this momentum.